Good evening, good morrow, and good day, and welcome to another edition of Slice and Dice here with the Manylands campaign. It's session 30, which means we've been going for quite a while now, but that's very exciting indeed. And first of all, I think in exciting announcements or points of order,
shameless plug.
First one, my favourite button. First one today is, as you can already see by the text next to me, we have a new giveaway today, thanks to our friends at Creature Cave, and we've got a dragon bundle to be giving away today. Prizes include this one. Here you go, Marshall. If I can give.
Oh, hello.
There we go.
Are we passing them round?
You can pass them. I mean, you can hold on to one. You can hold it up.
We've
we've got a few of these actually. There you go. Got some art there.
Would you like to have a nose?
Yeah.
It's adorable.
And oh, James, we've got some stickers there. Marshall, you got those. You can pass them down.
Stickers again.
Behold! And one last enamel badge as well. All the dragon. We've got berry dragon art and stickers. We've got 2 dragon enamel pins as well. It's very much double dragon.
Good stuff.
Very much dragon themed by the wonderfully talented Verity. Thank you very much for donating the art.
P-I-M-P-I-N-G.
So good. So all of this can be yours, this dragon bundle. All you got to do is enter the competition in the live stream. Just write the word #dragons in the chat to be entered. We'll be announcing the winner at the beginning of next week's stream. That's Monday here on the channel. We will, of course, be advertising it on social media as well. #dragons. Oh, James, straight in there.
Thank you, Creature Cave.
Straight in there. Thank you. Yes, thank you very much, Creature. Thank you so much.
No, that's a
Second of all,
Shameless plug.
So it's okay. I'll barreling forward here. Titan 400 says %.
It's me.
Yeah.
Oh, that's you. Oh, oh, that would explain why you went. Oh.
#dragons. There we go.
There we go. #dragons. Thank you.
I mean, it's not me. Don't give Titan it.
Oh no, I don't know who that is. Oh, Titan 400. Thank you for entering already.
You got the reverse psychology a little bit fucked up there, I'm going to tell you.
So, second announcement is we've got a very special stream coming next week. So we're taking a break from the main campaign on Monday because we are going to be playing a entirely new board game, which I don't think's even been released yet, because it's due to be released early March. So we're getting in ahead of time because we're fancy.
It's not released. It will be going into Kickstarter, I believe.
Oh well, there we go. Even more so. Okay.
Pre-release. We are signed up to newsletters so we can buy it.
Pre-release for the game Theurgy. So we'll be playing this live on the channel during our stream from Monday the 2nd of March from 6 PM. And we're actually very lucky to have the creators of the game coming on board as well for the stream as well to talk us through it. I'm going to be creating some little title things to tell you what the different actions are throughout the course of the game, just to help you follow along and help you understand the rules and kind of get to grips with what's going on with that.
It's
These
help
two.
You remember so you can win this time.
Because I did it last time. Because I'm the best.
Yeah. So in case you couldn't tell by the humble brag, there, these two over here also played the game. That's James and Marshall play tested it with me and the creators a few weeks ago, and they were all up for coming on the channel. So we were like, yes, let's do it.
So fun.
Yeah. It was
Creative crossover.
Creative crossover. So yeah,
By our powers combine.
sort of related. You know, there's a lot to do with religion, sort of in this fantasy world, monsters and the like. So there's a definite synergy, I think, with our stream. Perhaps we'll try and get a bit more of the Manylands into the game, but I don't want to kind of touch something that's already perfected. You know, I'm a bit wary about doing that. No. So anyway, look forward to that Monday here on the channel.
Don't mix the IPs.
No,
Yes, don't cross the streams.
He went DM for the game because he was like, I'm going to have all the monsters. I went, I'll have all the followers. Jack went, I want a cult. So
I had the nicest cult. They were peaceful, peace-loving people. We didn't fight with anyone.
I don't think that's
we
a
just
cult
got on with
unless
it.
you hurt someone.
No, yeah, it wasn't clandestine enough, to be fair.
It hurt Jack afterwards to lose.
I've seen what happened at Ruby Ridge.
It's kind of like, oh, it's over. Oh, anyway, join us for a very special stream on Monday here on the channel. But does anyone else have any announcements? I think James. Yes.
Martha is going to be playing
Henshin. Yes.
This
Shameless plug.
Thursday at 8 Eastern Standard Time. So for here in
Yeah.
it's going to
We worked out it was like 1 a.m.
1 a.m. Friday.
1 a.m. this
Saturday. 1 a.m. Saturday.
Well, she said Thursday.
Marta has swung.
Anyway.
a gig at PAX
At
East,
some point
which is a big deal.
in time.
PAX East,
is
yes.
cool. Look at PAX East. Marta will be performing in a thing.
Yeah, she'll be playing Henshin, and we'll be hosting it here on the channel as well, so you can tune to us at 1 a.m.
It is
our
indeed
time,
Thursday.
and
yeah.
watch it live. And I think some of us I may well stay up for that just to see what she's doing.
I'm usually up. I'll watch.
Should be good fun.
I need
Yeah,
my beauty sleep. This doesn't just
Henshin.
happen.
Henshin is like Power Rangers, right?
Henshin is like
Yeah.
Power Rangers.
Yeah, it's a Sentai themed.
Yeah.
Total Sentai.
That's literally all I
Sentai,
know
not
about
hentai.
it.
Yes.
Sentai.
Yeah,
It's a
very
very
important,
big
wouldn't it make
difference.
sense?
Extremely important.
Sentai, Henshin, not the other ones.
Yes.
Those are
Spelling
not two
is
words you
important.
combine together to make a
And on that note, let's jump in with spelling to tonight's episode of Slice and Dice.
Oh, you don't want me to be here?
And we are back.
Oh,
Little
we're
pink,
The
little pink behind the curtain
melodrama.
there, yeah.
going
Oh.
to do the critical role thing of just announcing things just before the cameras come back.
I mean, that was tame. If we're going to do that, then yeah.
It's just peeking behind the curtain, just so briefly here on the channel. Anyway, so last time you guys, I think that speak is off, but we'll figure that out. Hang on. So you guys were having a spot of bother in Rackfell Manor as you were sort of finally tying up loose ends and getting to grips with the werewolf plot that has been going on. You managed to subdue all of the werewolves, taking 2 of them prisoner before discovering the assassin behind the plot, and turned out to be working for a mysterious guild or cult or something from Isk of the Many Masks. Before they took essentially a cyanide pill, and killed themselves off to stop you getting any more
I thought you
information out
said
of them.
side-eye pill for a second there.
A cider pill.
No, side-eye, yeah. Exactly, yeah. Sort of like,
Someone did not handle their drink.
Don't like what you've been doing.
Some of that Isken beer you've been drinking there. Anyway, so you managed to apprehend the assassin finally, the mastermind of the plot, or so it seems, and also heard that the guards who were mercenaries posing as guards at the manor had been hired by somebody called Fang, a name which you've heard a few times before during this adventure, raising more suspicion. But before you could dwell more on that, you then found that your old buddy Fleeting Look had contracted lycanthropy, and while you had gone, had seemingly transformed into a werewolf and disappeared. You managed to, through an ingenious use of your warlock friends, familiars, flock of familiars, managed to locate him at the centre of the maze, which you'd been told by Fleeting not to go to earlier on in the evening, but seeing your friend there in peril and wanting to kind of bring him down, make sure that he was taken care of before he could do any more harm, you decided to go into the maze yourselves, and you overcame most of the obstacles. The final challenge, the one that Fleeting himself couldn't get past on his own earlier that evening, was the Medusa topiary with the magical fear effect, which almost split the party massively, and actually only one of 4 of you ended up outside the maze, that being the warlock of Leobrin. But Leobrin is a man of many talents and managed to help and assist the party in the final battle in the centre of the maze, using his flock of familiars and the staff of the Rat King, which, since the doppelganger of Neris was discovered, he has taken sort of the ownership of the staff, and so is therefore able to use that to summon some rats and send them into the centre of the maze to assist you guys as you fought off Fleeting Wolf. But he was not alone, because also at the centre of the maze appeared some twig-like foresty beings. They were blights actually, but you didn't know that at the time. Who were trying to ensnare you and trying to kill you, maim you, slaughter you, all of those things.
Touch us inappropriately.
Which they succeeded in to some extent. But you managed to subdue them, you managed to get rid of them, and you managed to take Fleeting Look back. You managed to knock him unconscious. Well, bring him back, stabilise him after seemingly hurting him mortally. And you also found the corpse of the real Adams the Butler at the centre of the maze, which kind of ties up your suspicions, of course, that the assassin was posing as the butler this whole time. With Fleeting in your charge, you headed back to the manor to bed down for the rest of the night. It's now about 1 a.m. to recoup because you're all fairly exhausted and wounded and the rest of it. And that's where we pick things up today. So as you guys go to bed, some of the guests have already left, including Gant Bronn and Howling Cragmere. They've started in the carriage back to the Crowflies. Also the band, accompanied by Rudy Rumbleguts, Rudy the Roadie as he's now known, have also left.
You can't not say it, can you?
I can't not say it. They've also left, which leaves only a few of the guests left in the manor, including 2 of them being werewolves. What would you like to do? Anyone want to do anything before long resting?
I do.
Oh, nice.
I'd like to grab Leo and Rexland before they leave the room of the werewolves.
Sure, yeah.
So, before we go to sleep, can I borrow you guys for a moment?
Sure.
Of course, Mr. Seth.
I'm going to take them to the room that Mala has shown us with the painting that had steel souls.
Oh, the one he told you not to go to.
What? No, I'm not pushing you in there. I'm pushing him. No,
Are you telling him where you're? Are you telling him where you're leading him?
I'm going to tell him as we start to make our way there.
Why? What?
So,
What?
Mala said that there was a painting in here that
Yes?
stole
souls? Why are we going there?
But I don't think we should leave it in the place with lots of corpses and stuff where people can come and get hurt. I feel like we should disable it and stop it. I was wondering if your rats, if maybe they wouldn't be affected because they're magical.
Yeah, let's be honest. Rats don't have souls anyway. So.
Hopefully.
I've heard that.
Oh, good.
Nibbles in your pockets.
Good, excellent.
I was wondering if we sent your rats through like under the door, maybe they could knock it off the wall so it may not be a danger to us. And Rexland, hopefully you can help us to survive having our souls taken if this does happen.
I'm not sure about the intention behind this, Mr. Seth. We could quite as easily just lock the door and make sure nobody enters. Rather
Yes,
than
that's
removing the painting.
always worked of let's lock a door. No one ever want to go in the room.
Well, I mean, this isn't really our home, so it's
And
not
you
really our
want to
problem.
leave soul-stealing weapons in the hands of random people.
How do we know that this even steals souls? I mean, the only thing I've heard was the rantings of your Loxodon companion.
You, don't believe the words of a priest of the
Well,
Eight?
no soul has been stolen, so the proof would be in the pudding, would it not?
Would you like to go in?
Felt like it rather
I
than...
personally have duties to attend to with the werewolf captain.
Tonight on Slice and Dice, the first ever rationalist paladin, everybody.
Would you be able to assist us in helping?
Would divine smite, but first I need
make
concrete
a
proof of the
check.
creator.
How do I know he's bad? He's done bad things, but how do I know he's bad? Sorry.
Do we know that it was definitely stealing Mala's soul?
No.
We just know it had an effect on him. Maybe
But
it
I'd
was
rather be cautious before walking into potential soul stealing.
maybe it was a...
You don't require me to walk in, do you?
24.
I'm...
You want to help us?
Well, I can see why Mr. Look pals around with you. I mean, it seems that somebody needs to look after you, Mr. Seth, and make sure you don't get into too much trouble. I will not go inside, but I will stay out here, and should there be any trouble, you can come to me and let me know, or shout, and I will signal for more help. There's no sense in all 3 of us going in there in case, we all get our souls
Again,
stolen.
knight in shining armour just is an example for the kids.
Why don't we send the rats in first, see if they're able to knock it off the wall?
Sure. I mean, maybe it's just a magical item belonging to the owner of that house who is now a dead werewolf.
What about the new owner of the house, the uncle? Would he perhaps know more about this item?
I don't
Very well, Mr. Chef.
Fine. I think we're both competent enough to talk to him without your administrations.
If you want to go, is he still up? We saw him when we came back.
Yeah. So he's around, yeah.
So
Probably in his study, as that seems to be where he dwells most of the time.
Fucking pickled
Yeah.
on brandy, you know.
So you're not gonna help with getting rid of this painting.
How would you like me to assist, Mr. Chef?
Well, first, would
By
your
assisting.
rats be able to go in and
I
see if
mean-
they can knock it
Yeah,
off?
by being in any way
How
helpful.
about we talk to the person who owns the painting before we try and destroy it?
Okay, let's go talk to him. And Seth's gonna strop off and
I will.
start to walk away towards him.
As part of my
Rexland, come on!
as part of my assistance, perhaps I should stay here and guard the door. Mission will be the entrance to the gallery in case the souls were eaten.
That's fine. You stay here.
Thank you. I'm brief.
I'm gonna hand on Leo's shoulder. I'm gonna bring him towards the study with. What's his name?
It's Rory Wimbleford.
We're
I
gonna
don't
go-
think you got his name actually. I think.
No, I think we may have.
We're gonna go speak to him.
Okay, no worries.
That name
Heard
definitely
that
rings.
So you enter.
That name definitely rings a bell.
So through the sort of the ante room, there's a small shrine to Ominak, god of truth, and through that ante room is the study with a large fireplace, wing-back chairs, and sitting in one of those facing away from you is the rather rotund and grey, wiry-haired form of Rory Wimbleford. You see a spectral hand is pouring another glass of whiskey at this time.
Walk over, still hand on shoulder of Leo, bring him over as well.
Okay.
I'll let go.
You are some of the adventurers, were you not?
Yes,
You were with the elephant man, the Loxeron.
Yes, the
I
mastodon,
haven't
yes.
actually met one personally, so but until this one, of course, I only have read about them. It's besides the point. Rory Wimbleford, yes, I'm uncle to the late Lord Belvedere. Could I help at all?
Yes, we came to speak to you. He, companion mentioned that there was a painting in one of your studies that attempted to steal his soul before.
Oh. Well, that's the first I've heard about such a thing.
Well, with all
I'm
the
afraid
dangers
Niccolo was
happening-
much more into the artwork, but I believe there was a new painting was brought in about a week ago, so perhaps that is the one.
Considering that this painting is dangerous and you won't be able to use that room without potential death, would you like us to remove this painting for you to help keep your house safe?
Well, if it eats souls, I don't see any reason why I would want to keep it unless I was looking for a way out, as it were. As I would be here all alone now. No, of course, you should probably remove such an item, yes. You go with my blessing. Would you care for a drink at all? Whiskey at all? Servant, would you bring the whiskey over, please?
Is the servant dead?
No, the servant is invisible. There is a spectral force brings over another carafe to you. Drake Lazarus has just written in saying, "Sorry I couldn't attend last week. I had to attend a VO session. Man, voice actors are the absolute worst. Am I right, guys?"
I like this. Is
I agree.
It's been nice knowing you,
Is
Drake.
this what you guys feel when he types Houndbane? Because I like this side of it.
No.
That was his laugh.
Exactly how
We were
it
doing his laugh.
No. I can say as a VO that they are in fact the worst. It's proven. It is known.
Yeah.
So I would say, if you don't mind, I will take that drink. Maybe a bit of Dutch courage for what's coming up.
Sure. So yeah, the spectral force. You can't even see it. It's completely unseen. This servant, wink, brings over a carafe and pours it into 2 tumblers in front of you.
I was like, thank you, sir.
Not at all to your health, to Burrick, to the dead.
Thank you.
What a ghastly business we have had to attend tonight. I
Very
regret, but I'm thankful you are here to help right these wrongs.
Thank you. We'll leave you in peace for the evening.
I was once in Escudo, and he doesn't even notice that you're leaving. Yes, a long time ago.
Are you happy
Camera
with stopping
riding
the soul
across
into
some
the
high
city?
off to
Sure.
and trails off.
Close
We
door.
will head back towards Rexland.
Okay.
So we've got the blessings to take out the last of the horrors in this house.
Very, very good, Mr. Chef. So would you require me to stand post outside, or did you want me to go inside?
Wait with us for a moment. Can your rats knock it off the wall?
We'll find out. I send the swarm of rats I have into the room.
Okay, so the rats go into the room. They
and
will.
I
Yeah.
tell them, try and knock the painting down. The big one. The big one.
Okay, so you need to make an attack roll for the rats.
Oh.
They will try and get the painting off the wall.
Aha, rats don't have souls, confirmed.
Magic construct, right?
Their souls are on a different plane, I imagine.
Or it's lost its magic.
That is, what is their attack rolls? That is a 17 to hit.
Okay, 17. So they, you hear a crash. It does sound very much like a painting has fallen off the wall.
Now, I realise that the rats can't talk back to us, so I'm hoping that the painting has fallen face down.
You then hear another crash, very similar, and another one.
Oh, they're
And
doing more
another
painting.
More
Excellent.
paintings going down.
Let's go in.
This is great. Malar told us which painting it was, like location-wise, when he went through, didn't he? So it's this room.
To be honest, there was only one painting in there that was shown. The rest were under cloth, so you probably would have mentioned that. Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna say, cool. If I collapse when I open the door and go in, say to Rexland and Leo, please pull me out and try and save me.
Should we tie some rope around you or something?
What's
Do
it?
we have any left? We've tied up a lot of people.
I have some rope.
And also,
Yes.
we don't just
The
drop
answer-
it to the floor
the
when
answer-
we're done with
Yeah,
it.
the answer to the question, do we have any rope, remains Brucon has so much goddamn rope.
We've tied up a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well,
Leo's got a rope.
I feel like we need some type
Leo's
of
got a
prison.
rope.
But cool, yeah. Yes, tie rope, that would be an excellent idea.
Right, there you go.
Hands
So
the
I'm
rope to
gonna
you.
tie the rope
You look like
around.
you could do a sailor's knot.
Belay.
Gonna tie the rope around my waist and gonna go towards the door.
Okay. Drake Lazarus says, why is there a picture of Houndbane on the wall behind the DM? Well, my friends,
Son of a...
that will all be explained if you watch our one-shot, sorry, I should say,
Shameless.
if you watch our superhero one-shot, which is up on YouTube, all will be explained there with a picture of Houndbane.
Well,
Sorry, of James.
well,
DM James.
He says all. That will be explained.
That will be explained.
Many, many other things that will not be explained, but that
I
will be
didn't think
explained.
about it, so no.
Anyway, yes, so you're going in the room.
Yes, as I start to go towards the door, I am going to hold the medallion and I'm going to whisper, take my soul, and I'm going to open the door.
You just hear a chuckle, a very deep chuckle.
It's a sort of
To be fair,
Constantine situation.
How loud are you muttering this?
Very, very fucking quiet, as in like to myself, as I'm like.
Okay, then I don't hear.
This is a kind of full-on Constantine situation where you set up like an outright Royal Rumble for Seth Soul.
If I'd heard you, I would have popped resistance on you.
Okay, so you enter. So you enter the room, and you can see that yes, a great many paintings have fallen down already, and the rats are continuing going around the room, knocking down paintings. There are currently several paintings on the ground, face down.
How many without cloths?
There's only one that doesn't have a cloth, and it is to your left. It's rather large. It's about 10 feet wide, maybe 5 feet tall.
Can I make my way towards it?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you can easily.
Cool. When I get towards it, I'm going to attempt to see if I can like take it out of the frame to fold or roll it up.
Okay, so yeah, you can certainly attempt to do this. For this, I would say you should make.
I'll take my time, so I'm going to make sure that it's... Basically, I'm trying not to rip it, so I don't
Yeah,
want to destroy
just being
it
careful.
in case soul-sucking shit comes out of it.
So for this, make a general dexterity check.
Saf, are you still you?
I'm still alive.
Still have your soul?
50-50.
Still.
15.
15. Okay, yes. So
Do you have
over the course
noticeably
of the
less
next-
soul than you did before?
the next couple of minutes, you very carefully remove from this gold-painted wooden frame.
If,
this
if I've
thing.
started to get towards it, I'm going to yell to Leo. It's like,
Yes.
I'm not sure if it's either lost its
The
magic or if
perfect-
it's because it's upside
the
down,
perfect
but it's
analogy.
safe to come in.
Okay, I'll step.
Well, Mr. Gilbert, pardon me, but if Mr. Seth's soul had indeed been taken by a painting, would they not
Flightline.
trick us by telling us that everything was fine.
I think if his soul is gone, it's different to if he's.
Unless somebody else, or another soul, perhaps a dark soul, occupied
Can I
his...
hear this?
But yes. Yes, you can hear this. He's not saying it quietly.
Rexland, shut up!
Sounds like him.
It's an interesting question though. If this is like a Buffy the Vampire Slayer situation or a different, like, what's the role of the soul?
What we'll do is I will do
In
what
the
I was
hole.
about to do, and I'll find out.
Be careful, Mr. Leobrin.
And he puts guidance on you.
Oh.
Answers that.
Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to peek my head through the door,
Yes.
and I'm going to detect magic.
Detect magic. Okay, so with your detect magic, you can see your rats scurrying around on the floor, and yes, there's a lot of magical energy emanating around. There's an aura around the painting, which you can see Seth is currently over. So Seth, it's not something you can roll up because it's on a canvas. So it's like wooden supports and stuff. You'd have to remove those, which it looks like they're kind of, the canvas is stapled into the wooden frame. So if you wanted to remove the canvas from the frame, not the exterior frame, I'm talking the interior frame, that's going to be another check if you wanted to do that. But also, given the fact that there's magic coming from it, it might not work at all.
Cool. I'll leave it. I'll grab a cover from one of the paintings,
Okay.
and I'm going to put it over it.
Okay. Interesting. How are you going to do that?
So I'm going to get one of the covers, so I'm going to put it so it's completely against the back of it, but also extending to the front of it. And as I start to raise it up, the cover falls on the front of it as well. So I'm going to keep it away from me and Leo, maybe Rexland, and stand up, and I'm going to lean it against the side.
Okay.
Make sure it still works. Wrexham, just look at this.
So I'll say for this then, yeah, just make one more dexterity check for
Alright.
this, just to make sure you can do this definitely without the cover falling off and so on.
14.
14. Okay, so you do get it up.
Yeah, so it's
You
always
sort
facing
of
away.
gradually,
from all
yes,
of us.
facing away from you. Gradually get it part of the of this sheet over it, but just as you're raising it past the sort of 45-degree angle, it slips off of one corner, and it's now exposed. It's now dangling in front of the painting.
Oh, okay.
So you've got it partially covered on one side.
Cool. I'm gonna lean it against the wall and then try to rearrange the cover while it's away from us. Just
Okay.
literally
Okay.
putting it over so that it's fully clothed.
Okay, cool. Yeah, takes you a few minutes, but you do manage to get it covered eventually, yeah.
Cool. Alright, cool. Soul painting covered. We'll leave it till the morning where we can figure out how to dispose of it properly and safely. How big is it? Did you say 10 foot tall?
10 feet wide,
10 feet wide. How
5 feet tall. It's a big old boy,
Okay.
big old painting.
I was going to say was detect magic in the room.
Yeah.
The painting is magic. Is anything else magic?
Nothing
Seth.
else in the room apart from the rats.
Is Seth magic?
Oh, yes, his normal bit, so now his vest is magic, emanates magic, and something in his pocket that also emanates magic as well. Seems to be
You already know I have that.
seems to be ring shaped. Yes.
Ring shape. I thought we were
Oh,
talking
no,
about
I've
medallion
got
shape.
two
Well,
rings.
you know, round.
Yeah.
I dropped a die. That's
Oh, no.
my
Yeah,
fault.
if it's the one that
It's
keeps
okay, I've
giving me
got
natural 20s, that's
Yes,
fine.
it is. No,
Burn
my,
it!
my
Burn it!
source of power.
But yeah, if that's done, we'll say, Leo, thank you for your help. Rexland, thank you for your help.
It's in your presence.
I've been here just in case as a backup, Mr.
Yes,
Chef.
you were
I
very
trust that was enough.
helpful. You did all the spells I wanted you to do. Let's go.
Oh no, that's a shame. Dear.
What?
What?
It's not even online. He's reading paper.
I was trying to see what type of magic is emanating from the
Yes.
painting for you.
And
I can't discern it at this time. You can't. You don't know which school of magic it
it's
is
the worst
necessarily.
spell ever. It does like one thing,
You said
and it doesn't work every time we use it.
But yes, if the painting is securely covered and to the side, I'm going to suggest
Is this like some kind of Mad Mage's
And
equivalent
it's-
of like the sort of the gimme joy buzzer? Like, is it this is a practical joke?
I can tell you.
It's not like an actual spell. It's basically someone just having
Apparently so, yeah.
gits and shiggles.
Actually, I can tell you what it is. It is from the. I don't know because it's not written in there, but it's the same. It emanates the same sort of transportation style of magic as, say, a Misty Step or a Dimension Door. It's got that kind of. I don't know which school that is off the top of my head, but it's.
No, evocation's burning shit.
There's the lovely.
But anyway, it's that. But we'll get back to that. So yeah, you get the paintings
I'm
covered.
going to suggest
Pick
that
a-
we go to
Pick a school.
rest now.
It's just an enchantment magic. Yeah,
Enchantment.
of course it's an enchantment
There we
magic.
go.
Yeah.
Cool. We're going to suggest that we go to bed. I'm going to thank Leo for his help, thank Greg Slange for his help, and we'll go. on a
You're
journey.
welcome, Mr. Chef.
I mean, if it's, I mean, if it's
And he looks at you just dead, like he doesn't get what this means. He's just going along with it.
At the risk of invoking a retcon, conjuration.
Conjuration,
I think
fine.
if it's transporting, then it's probably conjuration.
Conjuration. That sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
thank you guys.
Teleportation, conjuration, enchantment, death magic.
It's got a bit of that going on.
Cool.
Got a bit of the malevolent force about
And
it. Yeah.
on that note, go to bed.
Go to bed. And so, did you say you're leaving it in the gallery just covered up, or are you taking it with you?
Fully covered up in the gallery,
Are we not?
closing that door.
Should we not chuck it in like wherever we're sleeping for safety reasons?
Yes, that sounds like a super safe thing to do. Let's all sleep in a room with a soul sucking
No.
magical artifact.
Leaving it there.
So
Leaving it there.
Maximum safety.
Yes.
Cool. And I am going to bed.
Go to bed. All right. Is anyone else doing anything before you long rest? Okay. Fine.
We're just to briefly check.
Yeah.
There are 2 surviving werewolves,
Mm-hmm.
and their pre-lycanthropic identities were.
You don't know yet, but you'll know in the morning.
Cool. Okay, fine.
I thought we knew one at least.
I think yeah, I did definitely go over it. And then
No worries.
we'll
There's one in, like, a
expose that
very
later.
obvious costume.
Sleepy time is now.
I don't remember what the costume was, but it was obvious.
Do we get a full rest?
You get a full long rest.
Yeah!
You are not disturbed. You take your long rest. You wake up about 9-10 o'clock in the morning, sleeping a
we're
little
back on a
bit.
normal sleep pattern. We
And
sleep at night again.
But before we get to that,
Oh no.
Oh, come on.
overnight,
Mhm.
Leobrin,
Oh, we're going to miss you.
you're as you bed
His
down.
high dexterity score allows him to leap to massive conclusions
It's
in a
almost like
single
you
bound.
cast resistance on yourself.
As you bed down for the evening, as soon as your head hits the pillow, you're just out like a light. But when you open your eyes, the light before you, you can see it's through a canopy, the tree line. You are inside a forest, and you look up. It's like the forests you've been adventuring past, such as Half-Light Forest, only this is much brighter, much more vibrant colours. You of course recognise this straight away as being in the Feywild, and there is in the tree line around you, because you're in a clearing yourself, with a few flowers, many of them pink and purple. Looking ahead of you, there is one shining deer, sort of a silvery glow to it, and it nods towards you. This is a stag. Its antlers kind of jangle a little bit, almost like bells are attached to you, and then turns and starts heading away. Takes a few steps and then looks back at you expectantly,
I am following the deer.
and it continues on with knowing now that you're following it.
These flowers in the clearing are similar to my flower, I assume.
Yes, they are. This kind of there's all those different shades of pink, purple, kind of fuchsia, all those kind of things. A bit mauve, these kind of flowers. The stag leads you up a staircase made entirely seems to be carved into what was once a great tree, as it gently spirals upwards. And as you continue up, you see maybe 30-40 feet up, spiraling up the outside of this tree. The stag then stops at the top and looks to you, and then looks straight ahead. As you come up next to it, you see that at the top of this tree is a lone figure, female, lying across a sort of vine-ridden chaise lounge. The floor all around this area, it's almost like a carpet made out of these fuchsia flowers. And you recognise this woman immediately as your lady, the Spring Maiden. And when she gazes into your eyes, or your eyes lock, your eyes meet, you need to make a charisma saving throw.
Oh, good. Is it a charm?
Sorry?
Is this a charm effect?
Yes.
Advantage
You do
then.
have advantage, yeah.
What?
Jesus.
12?
12. In this moment, you feel paralyzed. You are struck dumb and still. This lady gathers herself up off the chaise lounge, and this smile that you saw as she was relaxing there, this then turns into quite a grimace as she comes towards you. A darkness envelops the sky around you, almost closing in, making you feel claustrophobic, giving you this tunnel vision, and all you can see is just her visage. And then her face disappears, and in its place is this mask, the black and gold gilded mask. And you hear a voice in your ear. Something is missing. And you wake up. And now we're back. It's 10 o'clock in the morning.
Back in the room.
Don't tune to random
What?
items.
What?
Yeah, indeed, this
Um,
morning plays out.
The
The band on here, damn!
I'm gonna look.
You don't need that iTunes shit.
I'm gonna pull out the mask
Unnecessary.
that I picked up.
Mm-hmm.
Does it look? Has it changed? Is it exactly the same as it was? Is it exactly the same as the dream mask?
It looks very similar to the one in the dream, yes.
And it hasn't changed overnight in any way. It's the same. As
No,
it
it
was.
looks exactly the same. You can, as part of your long rest, attune to the item should you want to, because you've already identified the properties
Yeah.
by.
That was my plan.
Mm.
Now I don't know if that was like a cool thing or like she was mad about it.
Looking at
Women,
the
you'll never know.
looking at the mask.
Oh shit, what have I done?
What have
That's
you
the
done?
internet, no!
Sunlight standing.
Mysterious fey creatures, rather than women, are very hard to predict. Wait, no, I've done it as well. Ah!
Jack, go save yourself.
Get out!
Stop
get
digging.
out. Overboard. Anyway, looking at the mask, one image flashes before your eyes. It's that of a mirror ball, and in that moment, you remember the task you were given by the old lady at Heroes Landing at the inn, who had said her sister was missing such an item, and that were you to find it, she would know, referring to, of course, you knew in your heart this meant the Lady Aranth, first blooming.
Missing a what? Mirror ball.
Yes, that was the item. Yeah.
That was a while ago.
It was a little while ago, so I thought
Find
I better
a
give you
mirror
this.
ball.
I'm
It was
just
at
going
the
to give
top,
this
wasn't
to
it?
you.
Remember the pops?
It was when you had your
Heroes
augury,
Landing.
you had your reading.
Yeah.
Morag?
Find a mirror ball.
Morag, that was it,
At
yes.
all.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna just check my notes because I want to remind myself what I wrote
It
about
was
this.
the first week back in January. So it's the
It's been a
6th.
little while.
Yeah.
It was when we met Rudy the Roadie, and we had the fisticuffs in the pub, and
That's
stuff
it.
like
Well, we can come back to you while you're looking at that. Yeah.
A magic ball to find.
Oh, he's got it. Okay.
There it is.
There it is.
How
that.
helpful.
Such detail.
Yeah.
Cool.
Just like my notes. So as for the rest of you, you wake up from, well, you feel well rested now. It was a long night and a lot happened, but you needed this rest.
Meditates for a few minutes, and upon doing that, switches out a spell, takes out a component which she bought a little while ago, 50 gold pieces of ruby dust,
Ah, yeah.
a torch, smears the ruby dust in and around the torch and casts continual flame. So I now have a permanent torch, and he sort of shoves it in a
I
pocket,
got it.
such that it now
Your pocket on fire?
Just breaking
continual flame. It illuminates, but there is no heat. You can smother it and quench it, but it does not go out.
Yeah. And you, yeah. That's cool.
And then heads
And
off.
you need that. So that's
Yeah,
great.
definitely. Heads off downstairs to find something to eat.
Okay.
Heads to the kitchen.
Yeah, sure. When you get up, you realise that you are not the first to rise this morning. It seems that some of the guests are also those that survived have also made their way down to breakfast. You notice, well, there are a few servants fussing around the nobility that is left. So you recognise one man in spectacles with a bundle of scrolls to one side. He seems fairly well dressed, but seems to be mopping his brow, his bald brow. Still a bit shaken, clearly, from the evening's events. Next to him is a halfling, red-faced, also looking a bit worse for wear. You remember that these two were in the hall with you when everything went down with the werewolves. And alongside them, well, in actually another part of the room, not so close to them, is a half-orc in pink pigtails, currently tucking into what's left of the boar.
Actually, I completely glossed over the fact that her pigtails were pink. The previous.
There was I think it was red hair, but yeah.
Okay.
Greetings all. I'm gonna breakfast. Head into the kitchen, and ideally I'm looking for like apples or pears or fruit.
Yeah, just make an investigation check.
Well, I was going to
So we
like
can
to
find.
just like
Natural
dial
20.
Natural 20. Oh boy, oh
So
boy, oh boy.
investigation would put me at 21.
21. All right. You find apples. You find pears. You find grapes. You also find some exotic fruits, which actually you haven't seen since your days back in Isk, like these like pineapples and guava halves and that sort of thing.
I sort of
Moto
scoop
go.
up a big old armful, and I
The
walk
whole
back out
fruit bowl.
just eating, and just the trunk is shoveling that in. And
Fructose
Oh, yeah.
extravaganza.
Just grazing for days. You're up, Brucon. Over to you. What do you wish to do first thing this morning?
I'd just head to the dining hall and grab. I feel like we haven't really established this before, but I feel like Brucon's a sort of finished breakfast kind of guy. So, featuring heavily strong coffee and some kind of tobacco, etc., and then a stiff drink, Irish coffee equivalent,
I like this. Let's establish our breakfast.
and a
Is it more of a
what would be the
liquid
equivalent of a
breakfast?
cigarette? Because obviously you'd get
Cigar.
pipes, but
You could chew
yeah,
it.
cigar actually would be So
Really?
Why not? It's just a leaf rolled up.
So, okay, so to find these things, you'll need to make an investigation check.
Sure.
You can find because
Sure.
the servants are still a
oh,
bit
good
shaken.
investigation. Brucon is super good at that. No, he's not. 8.
8. All right. Kind of look in the kitchen, but you see it's been picked clean by the Loxodon, and kind of assume he's probably got most of the good stuff.
You find some sort of anonymous brown fluid that may or may not be coffee.
But you do remember that actually looking for something that could perhaps give you the stimulation you seek was one of the guests from the party had
Yes.
offered you something,
Yes.
but you'd never got to
Yes.
get a hold of it. You think they may have been one of the werewolves.
Yeah.
But whether it's one of the ones that are alive or dead, that's remains to be seen.
Okay. Brucon's routine at this point is mostly sort of just stumbling around, kind of going, I need stimulants! Yep.
I'm a monk and I need my stimulants.
Yeah.
Oh dear. I tell you what, you can make a survival check because you're in the banqueting hall. There are still
Make a
werewolf
survival
corpses.
check to
well, they're now human.
make
but
it out
yes.
the other side of the withdrawal symptoms. 9.
9. Okay, examining the bodies that stick out to you of these
Are people
nobles.
eating around the corpses?
They've been moved to one side, but they are in the room. It's a big room, and yeah, they're kind of.
Well,
Not
I'm
eating
imagining
next to
some kind
them,
of like
but yeah.
tarpaulin thing.
Yeah, the servants have
They're not like
placed
weekends at
curtains.
No.
holding
Whatever.
the wall next to it.
Yeah,
Whatever
someone's
sheets they could
gone
find.
around and put them all in fun poses.
Yeah.
But you can like go
They've
over
all
and examine them.
repented, right? Right.
They've all reverted to human form, so out of
They did when
respect,
they
they've all
died.
been covered with various cloths that kind of haphazardly they kind of look for. But yeah, the ones that you note, out of the ones that you met in the ballroom, there was an elven couple, a squat man and a rather tall and regal-looking lady who took you for a dance.
Yep.
She is not among the dead. The husband is. The others you don't really recognise, aside from just seeing them just generally at the party. None of them really stick out to you. So the fact that she's not amongst the dead takes as a good sign. She's also the one who offered you something. So.
Yeah. Is there anyone? How many? Are there any other people in the vicinity?
Yeah, there are plenty. There are guest servants. You've got Malar.
And are they like how far away? What's the distribution here?
So you've got a man and a halfling, two nobles, who are sitting on one table together, one of the long tables. They're kind of being left alone by most of the others. Malar has kind of occupied the central table. Kajira is further along, still tucking into what's left of the boar meat along the central table. And then in the far corner, you also have the tiefling, the lilac tiefling of Wistful Gaze, also seems to be tucking into something. There's some grapes.
Right. So there are people around, but not necessarily like right next to the. I'm assuming the people aren't having breakfast.
To the bodies, yes. The
Immediately
bodies are,
adjacent to the pile of corpses.
No, they're giving it a wide berth.
Cool. Okay. Brucon sort of eyes this guy up and then furtively looks around and then goes in for a quick. Tries to fairly swiftly have a little rifle through this guy's gear.
All right. This is going to be.
You're going to say investigation again, aren't you?
Well, I'm gonna say because you're trying to do it without people noticing, it's going to be a sleight of hand.
Sleight
check.
of hand. Well, I'll take that. I'll take that.
Yep.
22.
22. All right.
It's an unconventional roll, sir, but it checks out.
In a flash, in a pinch, you kind of feel that perhaps you've got gloves of speed on as well for the way that you quickly rifle through the man's pockets. The elves' pockets. You find some chewing tobacco.
Take it. Literally, but also figuratively.
But also, you find a white powder substance in a small, in a small clasp box.
Okay. Pocket them.
All right.
Feel like there would need to be some kind of.
You can check the stuff if you would like, the white powder, if you like to see, you can see what it is.
Okay. Yeah, but Brooklyn is going to move away.
Yeah.
Kind of make a casually, just move a little distance away, and then we'll have a quick sniff of the powder. I don't mean as in. Oh my god!
More of
I can see forever. No, not like that. It just have a quick kind of like. A little investigatory.
Sorry, not an investigation check. This one, because this will be a. I'll say for this will be a nature check.
A nature check. Cool. Well, that's much better.
Typical half sentence here. Brucon finds. What is it? And does he try and
Oh no, that's a 2.
Oh no.
It's not cocaine, it's Joe-cane.
Hey-oh.
There appears to be some. The only thing you can get from this powdery substance is that there is something of rock salt about it. Like perhaps it's a mineral of some variety. That's all you can get.
Okay. Intriguing.
But you don't think this would be used as a seasoning because, well, the manner in which you found it amongst this man would suggest
it seems unlikely that someone would just.
You wouldn't hide salt.
I have to. Admittedly, I do frequently rock up to house parties with a bag full of ground cumin just about my person, but I don't expect other people to follow me in this.
So for me,
now I'm imagining a cocktail with ground cumin in. It doesn't seem good.
For me, it's paprika, you know.
Yeah.
So
Although admittedly,
too spicy.
Yeah, the bar we were in getting a pre-session libation had turmeric flavoured beer, which was very odd. Anyway,
I digress.
Yeah. So okay, cool. All right. So Brucon's basically struck out. He has no idea what this is. He's not currently got getting crunk so high on his agenda that he's willing to just throw
Just
caution
knock
to the
it back
wind.
and see what happens.
So we'll bag that. We'll stow that one for now.
All right.
And he his other priority at this stage is to just see if anyone can put him in the way of some kind of coffee-like.
Sure.
drink.
You can have a chat to some of the servants, and
Yep.
within a few minutes they manage to. Unfortunately, coffee is not something they have, but they do. That's more of an Iskin kind of thing. But they do have tea, which they have imported.
Bring me your strongest tea, if you please.
Apparently, the coffee doesn't travel well. You're told in quite a long conversation with this one particular servant. Seems you're not sure whether he's telling the truth or whether he's just kind of like.
I need a hot beverage.
Just filling up the space.
Something stewed with caffeine in it.
And within a few minutes, Iskin tea is brought in. Yes, Malar, it stings the nostrils to you. Just you get the whiff of the tea straight away. You remember from how you've had it before. This one, you're getting lots of very heavy on cloves. This one, cloves and turmeric, interestingly as well.
If Brucon is out in the banquet, I'll wave him over to the table and offer him a guava.
Brucon looks at it for a moment and goes, well, I suppose eventually it could be fermented into something alcoholic. I'll take it. And grabs it and then chows down. Did you say was it tobacco?
Yeah, chewing tobacco.
Chewing tobacco.
Mhm.
Okay, well, Brucon's going to chow down on some guava or whatever, and then chase it down with a little pinch of chewing tobacco.
Alrighty
So a
then.
little-
Alright, okay. Okay, so that's you two taken care of. So as for you two, Leobrin and Seth, what would you like to do? This morning.
When I wake up, I'm going to go check on all of our prisoners.
Very good idea. I presume I'm going to say that you'll do this probably the most efficient way, which would be going checking all the werewolves first, and then making your way downstairs. No, because you've got the doppelganger in. Oh no, that's in there as well. Yeah, you go in that room, check on all of them.
We're
I forgot.
efficient. We have
That is
one,
efficient.
We have one prisoner room.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. But you'll probably want to check on the statue as well, which is still outside.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
It's cold.
No one check on the statue. Oh. Okay. So yeah, as you walk in and you see.
And I think there's cart's still there.
Ah. Okay.
No one told us that.
Yeah, that's true. Mal didn't tell you. So anyway.
Anyone knows that they've gone.
Yeah. So you go into one of the bedrooms, one of the other bedrooms where the prisoner's being held. Rexline is still there, and now you see the two captives that are now in human form.
Yeah.
One of them is an elven female, kind of in mustard yellow flowing robes. They look quite ripped from obvious reasons. But
Now I'm realising we were fighting werewolves in dresses and stuff, and it's a less cool fight in my head now.
No, but it's like everything's stretched and torn, so it's got that hulked out look to it.
Some enchanted evening.
and
Hulk in a
the
ball gown
may
is
see a
less
werewolf.
threatening.
and the other captive human male, this one, he has a similar to yours actually, a naval kind of militaristic style jacket.
Okay. The first thing I'll do when I go in, just gonna knock on the box. Still alive? Want any food?
Oh.
Keep it together, bro.
No, that's good. That's really good.
Is it on the balance to use that? Would it be a thing to do with the
No. Just goes through all the voices.
Fucking sword.
Trouble, you say? And the last voice that catches you off guard coming from this chest is that of Fleeting Look. Hello.
And so is Fleeting in the room back to normal?
Well, yes. Sorry, make a... What's your passive perception?
16?
60. Oh, 60. Oh, yes, because the ring. Because the ring is good. Because for a fleeting moment, you hear, danger! And you feel the presence of Fleeting Look behind you.
You feel the presence.
So it's
Hi.
Fleeting, you're back to
Yes,
normal.
I am. I had to sleep on the floor, which is not ideal. Yeah, but I'm me.
The high ceilings
Mostly.
in a mansion like this must make things very difficult.
Could do with some breakfast though.
Head downstairs. We'll try to help you later on. We'll be heading back to try and.
Throw a doctor skill.
Mr. Sir, perhaps I should accompany Mr. Luke. Make sure he's well. You know what?
Excellent.
Otherwise, you would do what?
Well, the two captives here, I feel like we should get them some breakfast as well. If you wouldn't mind watching them while I accompany the other werewolf.
Yeah, you go be useful.
That's what I'm here for. I need it. Leaves with meeting.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to the other two and check they're okay.
Yep, they both seem awake. They seem to be, understanding what's happening. Cogitant, I think is the word.
Yeah, we're explaining to them what happened and that we'll be heading to the closest town, Hero's Landing.
The elven.
Try and get them help to get rid of it. Good. There is a way to get rid of it. It's not permanent, and hopefully we'll be able to get someone there. If not there, then definitely in Hillberg.
Runda.
North of Hill. No, we've not been to Runda.
Oh, okay.
You kind of you haven't actually. You've kind of circumvented Rundar.
Yeah.
And the elven maid looks straight up at you and sort of half hears what you say, but she seems that she's full of concern. Like her brows very furrowed and tears are in her eyes. Do you know what has happened of my husband? He was down in the party.
I think when I came out of my room, I heard everyone at breakfast. If he's okay,
I don't remember.
he'll be down there.
Was he German? I mean, not obviously.
I'll
not German.
say I'll escort you both towards breakfast.
The man kind of nods towards you. Thanks. That'd be most gracious.
I'll turn both down to breakfast and.
So they're still tied up currently, but
Oh no, I'm on time.
okay. Alright, you escort them down. Leobrin. Yes. So you wake from your dreamy dream. Look at the mask.
Yeah.
Dream.
Remember this magic orb that I have to collect at some point. I'm going to pop some reminders on my cape. I'm going to just do a picture of the orb. I'm going to practice a few minor illusions of said orb for like flashing at people. Have you seen this? Have you seen this? And then I'm going to put the mask on.
All right. Okay. Popping the mask on.
Yeah.
So that means that. So just to confirm, you then.
Yeah, the tunes.
Yes, you're attuned. So and now you know exactly what it does. Do you want me to reveal to everyone else what it does, or you can keep it
I'm
to yourself?
going to reveal now.
All right.
And then I'm going to change my appearance to look like me but better.
A
It's like
shining,
Slightly
Leobrin.
more like defined cheekbones. I mean, I've already got like half elf good looks anyway, but I'll just be like
This is like the portrait of
clear
you.
up a few spots, a little more cheekbone.
Yeah. A couple of Photoshop filters just
Yeah.
applied there.
Yeah.
and-
There's
That's what it is. It's
Bit
the
of soft
best,
focus.
There's
filter mask.
like there's no more stray hairs. All of the hairs are neat.
Does it extend?
Oh,
the
okay.
hair?
It extends to my full appearance.
Are we going full like uncanny valley level good looking?
No, just like I'm just all of the
too
little,
perfect.
Yeah. Oh, I mean a little bit along.
A
that
bit
lines.
more symmetrical than he was
Are
before.
you like
It's reasonably. Oh yeah, let's clear up the scar.
permapal?
Yeah, blue steel.
No, he's
Oh,
still,
hi guys.
he's still his face. It's like if you'd sort of pulled him into Photoshop and done just a few like blemish removal.
Yeah.
It's like a little eye enhance.
Leobrin is going to break the internet.
As he walks around now, you just see lines of the walls just slightly curved behind him. This bad Photoshop attempt.
Lovely job. Inspiration.
Hey!
Hey.
I needed that.
And
That wasn't a Seth inspiration. That was a James inspiration.
Yeah,
Still
you can-
counts.
you can
but
only
just
use it
saying.
on James rolls.
Yeah.
I want to do those a lot. I need that inspiration.
And then I will head downstairs and grab some whatever's left of the breakfast.
Like, as soon as you come in, Mal will wave and like give you.
Fruit is good. Yes, thank you.
We call these passion fruit.
I know.
Oh,
Thank you.
pollinate them.
It's all right. We're in Manylands. We are slightly more civilized than the Eurocrin. I understand.
Understood, Mr. Brugger, Mr.
Or whatever your name is.
You are from Manylands, yeah?
Yes.
And the elven
I
mate
can't remember
looks
if we
over.
talked. No, did they talk?
No,
to
it was
someone else?
She danced with Brucon. That was pretty. And then
Yeah, it was
things went south.
only out of character that I went. My accent's meant to sound like that.
Yeah, that was it, out of character, yeah. She regards you, and you can see very tall, very slender. Make a history
From
check
the-
for me, please.
I was going to ask if she's from the Black Forest.
Chateau.
18.
18. You don't know exactly where she's from, but you recognise that actually this lady is of the Grouse family.
Yeah.
They are one of the members of the High Council in the
Ooh.
Ranlas, along with your parents.
Yep.
So she's
Just dropping that backstory right there.
she is a powerful person, and she regards you. She examines the sparkly ruff you have that's now looking immaculate, crisp and clean, like it's just been like pressed.
Yeah.
Yes, very nice.
There are no more scorch marks on it.
I wish I had seen you on a better day, but I'm afraid my husband was, well, you were one of the heroes that saved me, were you not?
Yes. That is probably the best way of framing the situation. Thank you.
Alas, my husband did not meet the same fate as me.
Yeah.
And she just wipes a solitary tear with a little matching handkerchief, because everything is on brand with the kind of pale yellow, not mustard yellow colours.
True. Loranlas citizen.
So
Never
does
been
it-
seen dead in anything other than a perfectly wonderful matching outfit.
Oh yes, especially at these functions, like it's just the way you do things.
It's well, it's a pleasure to have at least one person from back home still alive and kicking.
What family are you from? Would I know you? I am a grouse, a greater grouse.
Thank you, Greta.
That's the art of when you don't know.
Thinking of whether to say or not.
This dilemma has come a couple of times now.
How close are we?
Oh yeah, you
That
came
is
down with
close
us.
down.
You're very close. Yes. Servants are starting to bring breakfast to you guys. It's just
So this is
eggs and
this is
bacon.
in the breakfast hall.
Yeah. You're all in there.
Okay.
You can hear this happening. Yeah. Yeah.
Brucon clocks when they come in and finishes chewing and then saunters over, and as Leoberin is kind of a blue screened essentially while he consults
I've
his
come
inner.
up with the reply.
But while he does that, Brucon takes her hand and goes, "Oh, Miss Grouse, it's I'm so terribly sorry about what happened to your husband last night. I do hope you at least are unharmed."
Oh, thank you. Yes, I have been better, but I make do. Sorry, it was a long evening. What was your name?
I'm Brucon Ree of the Barkfang Monastery.
Brucon.
I had the pleasure of sharing a dance with you.
Yes, you are very good.
Oh,
Yes. Oh, I remember I promised you to give you something. I'm afraid that my husband had the items.
I wouldn't worry too much about that. All I just want to say, I feel compelled to offer assistance if there's anything that would be of value to you. Then please do let me know.
Oh no, I think you have done quite enough. All of you, and my friends here would all agree. I don't know who is in charge. And she kind of looks around awkwardly at the rest of you. But I am sure that each of us here are alive because of what you have done, and we are in your gratitude for that. Perhaps there is something we can give you. I don't know.
In my experience of my time spent at the monastery has taught me that life has its way of delivering rewards for good deeds and karmic balance in its own time. Honestly, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Just out of curiosity, though, the matter that we were discussing. What
Yeah.
would you be able to give me some indication of what it would have entailed?
Oh, yeah. If you find it, you can help yourself to it. It is for times of joviality, not for the times of bereavement.
Seriousness.
Bereavement, as I currently find myself.
I understand.
But it is. She kind of leans over to you, trying to whispers in your ear.
Yeah.
It is something that you would use if you wanted to party hard. It raises your. You think that you can see normally, but with this you can see everything.
And while I hear this,
You will have to make a perception check with disadvantage because she is whispering.
You're recipient of a backstory.
Hmm?
Go back to his conversation.
Oh, yeah, it will happen. It will happen. We'll get there. This will happen.
17.
17. You hear the words "party hard." But you don't get the rest of it though. That's
A
what
guy in a white t-shirt with long, straggly hair just walks in and just starts going nuts on a drum kit for no particular reason. When it's time to party, we will party hard.
If it is called the Fallen Stardust. As in, it is from the Stasi. Yeah. Sorry, my Lorena friend.
Yes?
Yeah. Sorry, I was interrupted by the dwarf, but we had a dance
very
last
good
night.
friend,
It was
yes.
very good. Yes.
Very interesting character.
He is quite the
Worth
dancer,
talking to
you
a
know.
lot. Oh,
Oh,
is
yeah,
he?
yeah.
Fancy
yeah,
feature,
he is, yeah.
absolutely.
That's very good to know.
There's a little kind of, the sort of the classical my lady kind of
Little bow, little
bow
flourish,
thing. Yeah.
little performance check.
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you like, yeah.
Sure. 12.
In your best memory of what that bow looks like, you do it, and it's it gives the effect. So you are from Lorandas, but
Yes,
I did not get your name.
Green.
Green. Make a deception check.
Oh, 18.
18.
I was expecting to do poorly.
Since we're listening, can we inside check that?
I mean, if you can insight check it if you'd like. Yeah, sure.
I mean, you don't need to insight check. I'm
20.
pretty sure I've told you guys
I
my
mean,
real
you
surname.
know that he's.
I've told you guys a different surname.
Well, you know that his name isn't just Green, for sure. So that's strange. You know, he's hiding the truth. He seems to be, but she doesn't seem to notice this. Oh, it's a Green. I'm not sure I have heard of Green.
Euban is consistently uncomfortable with lying.
I thought I would know you.
Will lead her away from Brucon if possible. Just
Okay.
like put an arm around her, just like. The situation is I'm traveling undercover, and I would rather not people who know my name, as it were. So if we could just yes.
Oh, so who are you really?
No, that's the point.
Well, you can tell me. I am from the.
No, that's the
You can't tell me.
yes.
Oh, Green. Oh, well, it's Green from the Landras. The Green is a most noble house, hence the attire. Yeah.
We know that's a lie because we know you made up the green thing, don't we?
Yeah.
So now you need to
Oh yeah,
inside
you
check
know
that.
that. Yeah.
So now we know she's lying for him.
Yes, after him talking to her. Yeah.
Wheels within wheels. Plots within plots.
Never ending, never beginning, ever spinning wheel. Anyway.
Yep.
Anyway, yes. So that
Circles that
happens.
find in the
So you
window.
said so after you've had your breakfast, the all of the nobles kind of gather themselves together. They seem to be looking to gather their belongings and start heading towards the carriages. But before they do so, they all seem to line up in the main hall and they wait for you all to come out and join them. And one by one, they address all of you. First of all, the lady Greta. For your service, we cannot repay, but I would like to give So I do not have that much on my person, but here, and holds out a coin purse.
You are the rogue, so.
I'll tell you, it's very kind. Thank you for your generosity. We're sorry for your loss.
Oh, sure, Mrs. Grouse. We wouldn't want to put you at a disadvantage.
Oh no, I am lucky enough that I come from some wealth back in Manylands, but it is all I can do to repay for everything that has happened, and also for what is to come. For
she's a werewolf, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
She's going.
She's
we're not
coming with
leaving
us.
her, yeah, she's going with us.
and to make sure that I am perhaps well looked after.
Yes. I was like, thank you. We'll see you later. You're coming with us.
We may have a degree of pull with where we intend to go. We may be able to. We will certainly look after you, Miss Grubbs.
She nods and heads
Lady,
back.
I would have thought.
Oh, I apologize. Lady Grubbs.
No need for apologies. I'm not much with the titles, Mr. Shade Creek.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's Deacon, not our Shade.
Well, I am not the
Deacon of
titles, so.
Hammerford Institute of the Aid. Thank you very much.
Did you lose a
If
bet
everything's starting
at some
to,
point earlier
slide
on
down,
in your
Yeah.
character's life that means that you have to introduce yourself now?
He's just
Master
very
of the house.
stuffy.
I like it.
No, you've seen a servant taking breakfast up to him in his study, but he doesn't seem to have come out.
I'm going to say to the group, we should make our way towards our carriage so that we can get to Hero's Landing with people that need help.
Oh, that's
Before nightfall.
Yes.
Can
I give him like a little, like a when like a record stops and you kind of give it a Fonzie
Nudge,
hit?
yeah.
I feel like that should be our Malon reset button.
Mr. Sepp, I have, in fact, Mr. Leobrin and Mr. Brucon and Mr. Fleeting, Mr. Rexland. I believe I have some. That's a good point. In fact, look around. Is the statue still around?
Yeah.
Outside? Okay, cool. Oh, yes. The Gant has left with the carriage.
What?
When did he take the carriage?
Oh, that would have been last night. Oh, yes.
Why didn't you stop him?
It's his carriage.
And the last carriage wasn't ours.
It
was loaned to us.
It was on loan. We don't.
Oh, do we steal carriages now? Says Fleeting.
Oh,
is that our thing?
no.
We commandeered.
No. We may be able to. Excuse me, Mrs. Grouse. Did you come by carriage?
Yeah, I did.
I reckon a lot of people came by carriage.
We're gonna need
Not a lot of people are leaving.
Oh yes, that's great.
Oh, Mr. Leobrin, that's.
It's a numerical fact.
I wouldn't want to burden the Lord of the House with.
A bunch of spare
carriages.
carriages.
I did not come
And
by
horses.
the biggest carriage. It was only for me and my husband, but there'll be room for two inside.
No, we'll be able to take another carriage from the manor.
We killed a lot of nobles.
You saying that in character? Or
I was out of character
Oh
for
my
us.
God.
But
We killed a lot of people.
our notes. Are the nobles that are okay starting to make their way to leave?
So they're all lined up. They were about to have the next one come forward.
Oh, sorry.
But that's fine because you guys were talking with her. The other captive, the man in the military style coat, comes up. I had a gift for the Lord, which regrettably he has no use for now. It seems only fitting that I give this to you. Do any of you, you can fight amongst yourselves as to who should have it. And he pulls forward.
Thanks, DM.
Yeah.
Pulls forward a sword, a long sword.
Not interested.
Every person here is like,
Fleeting.
he's got the magic hammer.
And he grabs onto it with one hand and then just unsheaths it slightly, and you see a bluish glow come from the blade.
Very fancy.
May it be a light for you in dark places.
You fucker.
Thank you again for your generosity.
Dear Tolkien Estate, please don't sue us. No.
Good DMs create.
Yeah.
Excellent DMs.
Steal outright. Yeah.
We all steal, really.
Yeah, of course.
So, with longsword?
Someone just better covering up.
What
So
do
yeah,
you
you get
think
that. That's him. He steps back, and then the those that. So the next would be
It's not theft, it's a tribute.
Wistful Gaze.
Uh-huh. Oh, greetings, Mrs. Gaze. Are you quite alright after last night's events? I'm from Isk as well, you know.
Yes, quite. And she looks at Fleeting Look.
Well, that 8 charisma really work for you.
It was quite an evening, but I'm afraid my business must take me back to Isk. As if you should happen to go that way, take this, and she gives you a cloak. This one you recognise as the golden cloak that her partner, the dwarf, wore. It's bearing the same emblem, the lion, the white lion. Use this, and people will recognise that you are friends of the Aelin.
Was that the Aelin?
Yeah, it's Aelin. We have some sway in Isk and beyond.
Thank you
Would you
very
like us?
much.
And she heads back to there. The last two, the Gustav Racontel you recognise with the spectacles, and the halfling that you recognise as Gary Bumblefoot.
I don't think I even got his name, is the worst bit.
Gary.
Do you know what? I looked back through the stream because I was like, did I say his name? I did.
But did you say, did he introduce himself to...
He was talking to the Lord, but you were there.
Yeah.
Because the Lord didn't even know who he was. This is the halfling story. You kept her safe, and that's not a debt that I can repay kindly, lightly. But I'm a counsellor for Morningill, and I was going to be heading back that way, so I can give you a lift for most of the journey, should you require it. If you be heading that way, then I can give you a lift.
He didn't get werewolf, did he?
No.
Is that the right direction towards
Yes,
Heroes
right.
Landing?
Yeah.
And Hillberg, yeah.
Perfect.
Convoy.
I warn you though, it's not the biggest carriage. Again, it's only was told myself and my
Fine,
footmen, but
I think we'll be shared across multiple carriages because we have multiple werewolves.
It's a very generous offer, thank you.
and lastly, Gustav just kind of wipes his spectacles, cleans them for a second. Drake Lazarus says, why does the Oberon have 30% of the max hit points of the rest of the party? Is he made of potato salad?
Is this visible on
Very
screen?
good. Yeah, it was. It's a very good question.
Because he's the only one that rolls.
He has
HP.
minus. He has a negative Constitution modifier. These things happen.
He has rolled
And
a
insists
grand
on
total
rolling
of
for his HP
one.
advantage.
too.
One.
I personally am enjoying it.
Oh yeah, it's actually great to
This is like the ultimate glass cannon. It's great.
He's basically a
He's
cosmic
become the most
plaything.
powerful at attacking, so that he's the ultimate glass cannon.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway, lastly, Gustav cleans his glasses. Again, thank you so much. I'm pretty new at this, and obviously the contracts I was here to sign were not. But I can extend to you, and he pulls out you can see that this parchment has recently been drawn up. This contract. It says this is a sign from the Rumbleguts merchant family that you may stay
By the way,
at their residence.
When Gustav popped up, Brucon sort of like slowly.
Just
We
wants
went,
to
we
shrug
went
out
and kind of
outside
like stood behind Malar.
Is
Sure,
it,
sure.
Is it like a letter of introduction to Rumbleguts family?
Yeah, essentially that's what you've got. That you may stay at their pleasure, at their residence in Rundar, should you choose it in the future, as recompense for saving
Oh, in
one
Rundar.
merchant's life.
That is quite lovely. Thank you very much.
But
And that's all of the guests taken care of, the nobility anyway. The only other sort of point of order is then Rexland kind of comes up to you with Kajira.
So I've been having a conversation with the half-orc lady here, and the werewolf business. We think. Well, I think that perhaps it would be best if if we could perhaps take charge of the infected, and we could.
He wants to take them to Delvator. He wants to take them to.
It's not that far.
It is headquarters.
Insight check the shit out of that 'cause I think he's just going to kill him.
Yeah, because as far as martial voice, as far as I remember, he doesn't know of any cure for werewolves, and general attitude is kill them.
Yeah,
That is accurate.
10.
10.
Sorry.
It seems that he's a little flustered by the information that you gave him last night that there was a cure, because that's not something he was aware of. He seems you can't really tell exactly what his motives are here, but
Yes, I think that perhaps bringing them to the senior members of my order, to the Grandmaster, would be a wise move.
The senior members who didn't know how to cure like animal.
Well, they may well, I'm sure they do, know more than I do. My father is one of them.
But you've come to hunt werewolves without finding out how to save
I was not informed there was a cure, but perhaps they know of such things, and perhaps they can assist these friends here. All I know is that if there is a cure, it most certainly is rare enough that it goes into the realms of mythology.
Wouldn't they send you out with
Can I
it?
just
Yeah.
ask, since when did Seth have a problem with loose ends getting wrapped up via the application of edged weaponry?
That's actually a fair point. Yeah.
Since we completely failed at saving these people when they got turned into werewolves.
I don't recall us being sent here to save people. We were sent here so that some other person didn't get werewolfed. The person that we were originally coming here to impersonate. I forget the name.
Trying to uncover the plot. Really.
from Hilberg,
Hilberg,
Councillor
yeah.
Potter.
Councillor Potter.
As
Yeah.
more, don't let these people die and then we kill them.
I mean, just to be fair, I think both of those interpretations are valid.
That was an idea. I think that was the kind of the ideal scenario.
But, it
But
was
the
definitely-
baseline expectation was Councillor Potter does not get werewolfed.
Yeah, but that's it. These people are innocent,
Success.
and we're pretty sure that Rexland's going to kill them.
Are you saying this out loud about Rexland wanting to kill them?
I'll say, yeah.
No,
I'm pretty
okay,
sure
so
Rexland's
so
going
the,
to kill them.
in terms of the conversation there, Brucon does again sort of like kind of trying to keep large burly people between in between the line of sight of him and Gustav at all times. Brucon does a little kind of like and has a little poke at like Seth's thigh or something, and gets him to like bend down, and they have a little whispered conversation along the lines of, explain to me exactly why the prospect of these werewolves being killed is such a problem for you.
I'm not the biggest fan of letting innocent people go to be executed.
What are we talking about?
Oh, what's going on back here?
Turkey, we're arms around them. Okay, guys, paddle out.
yeah, huddle.
Rising from the middle, Fleeting Nook.
Yes.
I'm part of things too.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just know for a fact if he was here, he'd be right in front of me.
Yeah.
Just as he came.
Recap. Well, wasn't our plan to foil the plot of werewolfing everyone and killing them? So if we send them off to be killed, aren't we following up on their plan, not our plan?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
And
Well,
these
mate.
people have done nothing wrong. Why do they need to die?
Well, but they pose firstly, they pose a threat to the safety of many other people. But secondly, what else is there to
So
do?
does Fleeting.
But
So did
Fleeting,
Seth.
but we're here to supervise Fleeting. we know if necessary we can work to subdue him. But are we saying that we're going to be responsible for all of these people? We don't have a cure.
Well,
What other options are there?
we got the cure from Hilberg. We can take them to the church there. Maybe they may be able to help them.
I thought that was I'm going out of character.
You can make a history check, because I think I know what you're going to ask. And I can
Sure.
confirm or denied based on a...
Okay, fine. Yes.
We got the potion, I can't remember.
We got it.
Well,
we got
8.
it from the Chancellor at Hilberg.
I can't give you
Yeah,
any
no.
We
information.
got, we
well,
got
that's
the
the-
potion from the Chancellor at Hilberg.
Right.
Yeah, you got from the councillor,
One
yes.
potion.
One, and yeah, she did say it
That
was
was one.
very rare and had been there with it being there for a long time, as in with the council. So yeah,
But
they're not.
We don't know where the church may be able to help.
Perhaps Phil the trader.
They know how to use remove curse.
Phil the potion seller. You never know.
Yeah.
All right, I'm convinced.
Well, I think either way, the Grandmaster and the upper echelons of the Order of the Broken Fang will know more about how to deal with these werewolves in the future,
Okay.
and whether
this-
there is in fact a cure.
As this is relevant to Brucon's concerns, he's also going to, and the Gustav thing is now less relevant. I'm going to insight check that. 18.
18. Yeah, he seems genuine in what he's saying. He's very concerned about the fact that he's alarmed by the fact that he's been told there's a cure, because he was always under the illusion there was not one. Hence, he was quite willing to kill them before. And
Okay.
it seems he's kind of his junior years are kind of showing
Yeah. No, I
at
get
this
it.
stage. He's out of his depth.
Brucom sort of like back into the huddle. I think Rexland's not shouldn't be considered a danger to these people, but I do like the idea of going back and exploring further whether we can have the curse removed. So why not keep the Order of the Broken Fang as a sort of backup option if that shouldn't materialize.
So far,
I
their
agree.
their expertise at werewolves is what we amassed in one fight. So don't think they're the smartest order for how to stop a werewolf or save them.
No, but they do have manpower, which we lack.
We can apprise them of where we're intending to take these people, and they can
Yeah.
follow on.
Rexan, you can go back to that place and tell them
Mhm.
that we'll be taking the werewolves to Hillberg to look for a cure.
Well, this was what I was going to do either way, whether you will allow me to take the werewolves or not. I must report back. This far too much has gone on here.
Yes, you go report back to your
I will.
We will be
I-
heading to Harvage by way of Hillberg
Hillberg.
by way of Heroes
Heroes
Landing.
One place beginning with an H, via another.
And he
Perhaps.
takes fleeting because that's sorry, yeah.
Perhaps if you head back to your order and tell them this, and maybe send a larger contingent,
Someone smarter.
higher ups, the intellectuals. Send them our way, and then
Insult.
perhaps they will learn how to fix the problem.
I will do so, Master Leobrin, and hopefully we can get to the bottom of this without any more need for bloodshed.
Do you have any?
Try to stay out of posters, Mr. Chef, in the future.
Try not to kill innocent people.
You don't have
What?
more high ground.
Name one innocent I've killed.
Did you not kill one of the werewolves?
I actually don't know.
You did. Sorry, you were saying.
Shit, what was I saying? Or do you have happen to have anybody of the divine blessings of the eight within your order?
Well, yes. Agrafol is the patron of the order.
You may find that there are certain clerical abilities that will disimbue a person of their lycanthropic tendencies. I would conduct some further research into such an application when you meet with your Grandmaster.
I most certainly will, Deacon Shakewick. Thank you all. And as for you, Mr. Look, I charge you to watch over these wolves and make sure that things do not get out of hand, and make sure you do not get out of hand. I charge the rest of you to make sure he does not get out of hand in his werewolf lycanthropic form.
You're just stating facts. Go to them already.
Ooh, I have one last fact for you.
And he just doesn't look at Seth at all.
One last fact for you, sir.
The half-orc lady here has demonstrated her worth, and we have made some conversation, and she will be accompanying me to back to the order.
Do we not need Kojira?
gonna be 2 weeks after.
We
this
don't have
point,
another
isn't it?
session. The next session we do for this campaign.
Yeah.
Yet there is Martin back.
Yeah, I've made plans for that, so
Oh.
she doesn't have to be.
Plans.
Okay.
But
Behind the curtain now, folks. Sorry.
she steps forward.
To make it slightly less metagamey, I won't do it in character, but Brucon suggests that if we're likely to part ways with Rexel and having someone else of the
Tough persuasion.
yeah, the tough chop things to pieces variety would not be the worst idea in the world.
And Kajira steps forward. She goes, "He pays me money. There's a lot of money in Order of Broken Fang. But I have other work. If you have coin, perhaps."
Kajira has axe if you have coin.
Tell you what, if the Oberon dies, then Marshall will bring in a tough character.
Right, that's committed to the internet now.
Oh.
That's never going
That's now a thing.
I have not died yet.
I am looking for
Session
work.
30.
Order gives me work. That is the way of things.
May the blessings of the earth go with you both.
Safe travels, and if they start to make their way towards the horse that whatever they're going to take, I'm going to make sure it's not my horse.
And if you ever come across a giant boar, make sure you grab it by tusk and then hit it with axe.
Ah, thank you
And
very
kill
much. We will.
Nods. They turn around, they start exiting.
And following to make sure I don't take my horse.
Malar
Good
goes
point.
and picks up the statue of Lady Grenforth and then tries to basically shepherd the people that are, well, it informs the people that will be departing us here, the people that don't have lycanthropy,
Yeah.
to maybe keep a lookout for this cult of Volusia and
Sure,
spread the
sure.
word,
Okay.
and then sort of tries to go and locate a now vacant carriage.
Okay, sure.
So they're all leaving.
Yep.
I take my horse.
They haven't taken your horse, no. In fact, they get on a carriage with Gustav.
Okay.
It seems they have a short conversation, and you overhear that he's going back to Rundar.
Cool.
So they're going to use him to give them a lift some of the way.
Okay.
Just the two of them. Well, three of them. Which leaves then, there are several carriages. Yep.
Oh, sorry. How many guards are still here from the other night?
It seems there's 4 guards.
Is that the same number that we talked to him to stay in?
Yeah.
And I want to be pissed off at them.
They look kind of sheepishly over to you, and they kind of hearing you berating the dragonborn. They're like looking a bit shifty and navel gazing at this time.
That's when they actually did their jobs.
What are we doing with them?
They've done their jobs. They helped secure the place while we were gone.
Gentlemen.
And the half elf you spoke to before. Hello.
Hello. I assume you'll be heading back to your company.
Yes, we'll be heading on our way. Yes.
I would recommend you forward on a negative review of the person who employed your company to do this guard work at this event. They're clearly not a good person, and you should maybe perhaps forward us on their details if your higher ups know any more.
Oh, Fang will not be sending me again, that's for sure.
Are you leaving a D&D Yelp review?
Leaving a D&D out through and waiting for a reply as well.
Yeah. And they nod and start taking that as a sign and start heading on their way.
We're heading. I'll give them the directions of where we are in case they want to send on a messenger with Fang details should they come up with any.
And you see the short kind of scrawny head with the buck teeth kind of like glance up at you, the annoying grin. We seen you? And they start heading on.
No, couldn't give a shit about.
Oh! Okay.
You know what I'm gonna do? Though?
Cold.
Wait.
He doesn't make me
He's
pissed off.
he's smugged all of us, right?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna just mould earth and make the terrain difficult underneath him while he's walking.
It's like, yeah, tries to straighten himself, but yeah, he looks to be bogged down a bit in your mould earth as he leaves.
I was going to ask that, do I see the evidence? I was like, I'm going to
Yeah.
fist bump.
So that leaves the. So Wistful Gaze gathers up her stuff, and she's actually not going to. She seems to be going on her own, with just a couple of attendants.
So we've just got
Make
the
fun she's going the wrong way.
12 people. Are there any abandoned carriages that seem to be left?
So there's no abandoned carriages, but there's the carriage belonging to Gary Bumblefoot,
Yep.
the halfling, and there is also the carriage of Greta Grouse.
Cool. So we don't actually have enough space for all.
So there is space for 2 inside each carriage, 2 on the top, but then 1 space will be taken by their drivers. So 1 space theoretically, and then 2 on the back.
We don't have enough
So
space.
space for
What
five.
about-
So
what about
for
So space for 4 on each carriage.
Tons of carrot. How many werewolves have we got to deal with?
No, they're in the carriage as well. It's got a space of 4 extra on each carriage, but we've also got the trunk, the statue, and
There is room like webbing and stuff to tie
They
the.
have roof racks.
You have roof racks, exactly.
cool. So we've got enough space for it. So I think we should start taking the statue. I'll bring Leo with me to go get the box.
One
Upstairs.
werewolf
Okay.
per carriage.
Yeah.
And then one of us per carriage as a minimum.
Is there enough space for painting?
You might have to. You'd have to put it on the top.
It's 10 by 5.
I wouldn't
It's
recommend
rolled up.
putting it with the statue.
Is it rolled up?
No, not with the statue. I was going to put.
What is it,
Can
You could put it on top of the trunk,
Can I put it
maybe.
Can I put it on top of the other one?
I thought it was-
Other carriage?
You could try and put it on top of the one with the trunk, if you'd like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one.
Okay, so for this,
Well, I'll ask for help for people to
yeah, I
carry
would
it.
make an intelligence check.
Is this a smart idea?
What's your intelligence?
When I created this character,
Modifier?
I did not do well enough. Never mind, scratch that. 8. Just
8.
intelligence check.
8.
8.
Yeah. So with the so you think you can balance it on top of the case? That should be fine.
Can Malar fucking interject on this? No,
Like that.
no, Mr. Seth. No, why would you bring that down?
Can you help?
We should burn this. Be rid of it.
What happens if it releases demons that kill everyone?
Why would it do that, Mr.
Why
Seth?
would a painting take souls?
Why would it release them upon burning?
Why would God make us fight an ice giant? Shit doesn't make sense.
You do not question the will of Festir.
Festus said to put this on the roof.
No, he did not.
Steve did.
No, you do not take his name in vain. That is a private name. Malar is glaring down at you now, my friend.
Fake Lazarus,
These
hashtag
are all-
fake guys. Leo Bryn's armor turns to literal potato salad.
Nobody has armour?
It actually
Can
do.
you
Oh
see
my
if
God.
you
Leather.
can help me
It's leather.
secure it so that we can safely dispose of it? So
Mr.
that
Seth,
no one gets
that
hurt?
is 10 feet wide, 5 feet deep. You need to take it out of the frame and roll it up if you're going to transport it.
Fine. We'll try that.
And so as we said last night,
And that's the story of how the entire party
Wooden
had its
frame.
soul
Yeah,
so
taken
you can
away.
try and detach it from the wooden.
Yeah,
I
I'm
like
gonna
the
try.
idea of us having a weapon.
Okay,
Painting,
so
but-
that's gonna.
I'm taking my time, and is Malar helping me?
Sure, I'll throw a fucking guidance on you. And I will assist, but I will also give you guidance.
So it's a dexterity check.
Is that, since he's helping, is that with advantage?
And a d4.
I like sitting next to you now. Oh shit, that was
That's-
awful. Oh my god!
It's worse than my bad roll.
12, god!
So what are you trying to get it off with?
Daggers.
Smutty comments.
So
I'm
We-
being
Trying to,
careful,
like, yeah.
trying to take the thing
In the
off.
mood, sorry.
It's facing towards the ground and trying to just very slowly take it off so it's just the picture downwards. So,
So-
it can fold and roll up.
Location.
So as you interpose your dagger, just to get some leverage, put it in there. As you give it some force, the dagger snaps.
Really?
You break the dagger, yeah.
Can I try again with another dagger? Yeah, I'm going to remove that dagger.
Can Malar, while
I appreciated the sideways look there.
while he's fucking around, can Malar try and accidentally put his foot through this thing?
Accidentally on
Accidentally.
purpose. Okay, sure.
The back side
Take
or the
it.
front side, because it might go right through the front side.
Can
I'm
I see
going
this
through the
about to
backside.
happen?
Well, you
put
you
your foot
do
in and
your
get sucked
second
inside.
dagger thing first, because I assume you won't do both at the same time. That's a bit much.
24.
So you don't break a dagger this time, but it's not coming off. It seems the magical properties imbued in this thing are not letting you remove it.
No, I can't just get it off.
I would advocate that we bury it or burn it.
We
I
can
like
definitely-
burying it.
We can definitely bury it.
Bury it. That's a great idea.
Mr. Leobrin,
You're on Earth, eh?
It'll be fun when the garden's
I would
taken
like
up.
to grab the painting and drag it over to a patch of just earth and sort
That
of
is a
look at
great
Leo,
idea.
point down to the ground and be like,
Is Leo from old Earth?
That's a
Yeah,
fantastic
bury
idea.
bury the body.
It's a really great idea. Let's do that.
Seconds.
This is a perfect idea.
Fucking Minecraft.
just in.
Yeah.
And then, if you cover that back up. Oh, thank you, Mr. Leobrin.
I certainly
Thank
can.
you.
Muwan
make the
says
mouth
you've got a
noises.
nice Manylands map. Thanks, Muwan.
Yeah.
Cool. So this is secure in the ground. Are there any landmarks around it?
You're directly outside the manor, so that's the most
Perfect.
obvious. Yeah, you're just in the sort of turning circle area, essentially.
Oh, this is great. That's great. Cool.
I walk over to a tree and I start punching it to bits.
Cool. In my notebook, can I just make a note of where it is?
Of course you can.
Cool.
Yeah, go for it.
In a long time.
Can
Okay,
I
so
look
you
over his
buried
shoulder
that.
while he does that?
Okay. Are you trying not to be seen by Steph?
No, I don't really give a shit at this point.
Okay.
I'm going to not let you see.
Well, I'm going to try and look.
Okay, so this will be a stealth check versus your perception, because you're actively looking and you're actively trying to hide.
That's such the opposite of what this should be.
So, you got a bit of 14, my friend.
Cool, cool. My stealth.
Or sleight
Is,
of sleight of hand.
No,
up
my
to you.
stealth's 11. I'm good.
Okay.
Third 23.
Yeah, fine, okay.
So he does manage to get away from you. Look for long if he double dashes out there. Away
No,
from
I
you,
just
and then
close the book.
get enough time to
Can
get
look over the shop. Can I help you, Mela?
No, I'm just curious. I'm just what you're doing there, Mr. Surf, that's all.
Writing down the events that happened with the werewolves, in case we encounter them again.
Oh, and you're likely to forget?
Depends how long till we fight one again. Always better to keep a note of what you fought.
You know what they say about loxodons, don't you?
They hate rats.
Possibly I forget the rest. And
Hey,
walks off towards the waiting carriages.
Inspiration.
Everything about that was incredible.
Begrudging inspiration. That was very good.
Uh,
Yes. So you can share yourselves either between two carriages. You'd have to share yourselves between two carriages
I'll
with
take
5
the
of you. You're going on the horse. Of course you are. So the rest of you, what are you doing? Which one are you going
Riding on the back of the carriage with Lady Grenforth on the top.
with? Okay, so that'll be with Gary Bumblefoot.
Great.
Okay, you're on the back.
Holding
Brooke
on
on?
to the back.
Brooklyn's happy on the roof, I think.
It's on the roof. Okay, yeah, fine.
Is that an option?
Yeah. Oh no, of course with the driver. Yeah, sorry, I thought you meant literally like on top of the bag. So I was like, yeah, you can go and actually see if you like.
Either would do, really, but,
Cool,
but yeah,
that's
with the driver it makes more sense.
So you going with Malar on the same or on the other one? That's the key question. Which one are you guys on?
Yeah, with
Spatial
Malar.
geography.
Yeah.
With
Let's get all
Malar.
the deep people together.
So we've got you two on one.
Yep.
I guess us two on.
on a horse.
He's on horse fleeting though.
Shouty.
Yeah,
I'm
he
on
was
a horse.
fleeting and the other.
Excellent. So you guys
Look at me, 'cause I'm riding on a
make it
horse.
gather your stuff together and head on to Heroes Landing. We're going to take a very quick break. We'll be back shortly. Thank you. Okay, folks, we are back.
Backskis! Hello. You wandered away, hear our voices.
Hear me roar.
To Heroes
Wow.
Landing.
So before we jump back in, just another reminder about our giveaway we're running this week with our friends at Creature Cave. If you want to get a hold of these fabulous enamel pins and stickers and artwork, all dragon related, which I've put away, but I'll be showcasing them throughout the week on social media as well. Just write in the chat #dragons to be entered. #dragons.
Thank you, Creature Cave.
Have a Creature Cave.
Anyway, so yes, you're on the way towards Heroes Landing. You start heading down the road from Rackfell Manor, leaving it in your wake. It's a kind of lone sentinel along an otherwise kind of barren landscape behind you. Heading more towards the coast, you can see off in the distance is the Star Sea as you head south down the track through the foothills. This goes by unabated for a few hours. You come to a crossroads where you see #dragons. Thank you, Marshall. Where you see your friends in their carriage. That's Rexlan and Kajira in a carriage with Gustav Racontel. They stop at this point, and you see the Dragonborn and the Half-Orc disembark, and they start making their way eastwards while the carriage continues west, and you guys follow in your carriages. That carriage on its own gets away from you. You're going at a slower pace. It's just carrying the one passenger. Several hours later, you're looking at about sort of 4 o'clock at this time. This day's been fairly muggy, fairly misty, and as you continue down the track, I need those of you who are sitting not inside who are sitting at the front with the driver. That's Brucon, and that'll be one of you. You can. And I would say Marshall, you can as well. The Oberon, you can.
Okay, I was going to roll for if it was me or fleeting, but I'll be
Perception.
Perception checks for the three of you, please.
21.
Nice.
13.
I've got +3 now.
Okay, so you up ahead on the horse, you hear carrying on. Whoa! You hear on the breeze sounds of shrill screaming coming from up ahead. You hear one voice sounds female, second sound a bit lower, sounds male, greeted by then a third voice as well, which equally sounds startled. That has a sound effect.
Just turning that dog around so you can't lean into it and make it go.
Moment killer.
We're gonna lose
Thanks,
James
dog.
for a
I
couple
thought
of
that
minutes.
was deliberate because I wasn't.
Who let the dogs out? His hound veins getting like palpitations. You hear a third voice which
was great to the party was jumping.
The third voice you actually recognise. It sounds less like a scream, it sounds more startled, and you recognise it as Gustav Racontel's voice coming, carrying on the breeze, just ahead of you, just around the bend beyond the kind of foothills that kind of block your sight line along the coast road.
Was saving him from being eaten alive not enough?
People are
I don't know.
It would appear that we need to do it
I
again.
can't believe we left him
Cool.
alone. without the security.
I'm on Horsey. How far away did the sound like it came from?
It's like literally just around the bend, so it's maybe 100 or so feet. Yeah, you could if you're quick, you can catch up to what's going on there.
Cool. I'm going to. Yeah, it's like there are some people ahead that need our help. Get out of the carriage. That last part. I feel like it had to be directed at Malar.
Malar is physically outside of the carriage.
Then get off the carriage. So I don't want to say I ride ahead. I don't want to say those words.
I feel like you already have.
I mean, that would be the quickest way.
It would be
It?
the smart.
But note the distinction between I don't want to say and I am not going to.
I'm going to point out you quite enjoyed it earlier when you were called a hero. This is what heroes would do.
Every time I've gone in first, something surprised me.
But you've got that lovely ring.
Yeah.
Alert!
Yes.
Danger!
It goes.
You're getting fisted in the ass.
Alert! You've been stabbed.
The sentence doesn't get to finish. Dagger in my chest. I'm gonna ride ahead as I yell that out to everyone, and I'm gonna make sure it's loud enough that I can hear him. I'm gonna finish off with "Hurry up, fleeting!" to try and get some quick backup.
Excellent. As the adrenaline kicks in and you start galloping off on the horse, you feel the wound that you had in your sort of flanks from earlier, the festering wound that's no longer festering. You feel a pang there still, and you recognise that you will need some kind of alternative magical healing to the one you've already had. You had a cure wounds or healing word earlier to close the wound, but you need something to bring your max HP back to its total, because it's 1 down on max HP. I think we talked about it in the thing, but it may not have been entirely clear, so I just wanted to iron out that is what's going on. You feel that right up ahead. Okay, so you get round the corner, and what you see before you, you see two diminutive stature folk, one male, one female. You can tell from this distance, just stereotypically. I don't know how to react to that. Drake Lazarus, because I can't block that. Anyway, so you round the corner and you see these two figures, and they are being harassed by two figures that are they're more like 5 feet tall. They look kind of reptilian, but bipedal, standing on two legs, and like there seems to be this kind of essence, this ooze just kind of dripping from them as they move. And even at this distance, you get a waft as a stench in the air.
How far away am I?
You are about 20 feet away.
20 feet.
There's a
So I've
sorry.
literally turned the corner and they're 20 feet away.
Yeah. You're like right on the corner.
Do they see me?
They don't see you because they're too busy with each other. But there's also a third figure, which, there's the carriage of Gustav Rakentel, and he's kind of, you can hear him inside going, "Oh no, no!"
Can I pull out the hand crossbow?
Yeah.
And attack whichever one's about to attack someone.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so
Initiative.
you can make this now pre-initiative if you'd like.
Since it can't see me, is that advantage?
No, for this it won't be.
How many
advantage,
A's are
because
in the
it's
name of
you're
that?
you're out in the open. You're not.
That's
Zero.
what I was
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So they can they'll probably sense there's something there, but they're not actively looking at you at this stage.
Is it
See,
next?
my
but it's
instinctive
engaged with
cobalt.
someone, isn't it? It's engaged with someone else. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's
But it seems
it's
unlikely.
attacking two common folk. It looks like.
So I can get sneak attack from it being engaged. with
They're not your allies, so no.
I know that guy.
No. You don't get sneak attack on this one.
Ally.
Bonus
Now,
action, can I bonus
a
action
person
hide?
that I know.
You can certainly try.
Bonus action hide. I duck behind my horse's mane.
I mean, you could go and hide behind the carriage.
We had this discussion about did they
No,
count as allies?
I was just worried because we just come around the corner and they're engaged with someone else.
But my head
Can I
of
roll-
this moment looks pretty good, by the way. Like Seth coming up on his horse, he's got the hat, the thing, and
Oh, he doesn't actually have the
No
hat.
hat.
No.
oh, damn!
I'm
well,
so
it's
sorry,
good.
to, but otherwise seems like highwayman territory.
like
It's
just-
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, what does Seth's hair look like? Because obviously we can see this.
Shorter black hair.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Just
it's black, right? Black.
Little
That's no one.
No, I just need to give you like a. I just try and find a brown hair because you've got the blonde hair, but then you normally wear a hat.
Picture, man.
Yeah, I know, but I'm
Wearing a
just
hat,
saying.
man.
Yeah. 'Cause, anyway, just right. Roll,
Fucking roll.
roll an attack. Make an attack.
Oh, shit, anyways.
So you should say that and then reveal that you got like a 19 or something.
Yeah.
12.
Oh, that's pretty
Think a
That is
12.
decidedly mediocre.
Think that misses.
mediocre.
A 12 actually hits.
Oh.
What do you believe? They're not well. They're not armored at all. Actually, these guys.
So that's 13 damage.
13 damage. That is its exact hit points. You take it directly to 0. With that, thunk, and one just collapses to the ground, dead. The second
Still
one
the protagonist.
looks
I
up.
come round on the horse and I'm like, I meant to do that.
Its reptilian features. It's got this snub nose, quite wide, more kind of like a, kind of similar to I'd say like a staffy, like that kind of wide head, like quite a big head to them, and these beady black eyes underneath a pronounced brow.
Can I yell this way? Come and get us as I try and turn the horse around towards us.
Okay, sure. Roll for initiative, and everyone else roll for initiative as well,
I think
please.
the words you're off is as I try and run away.
Oh, that doesn't count. That was a
No,
roll.
I'm trying to get them away from
That was
them
a drop.
towards us. So you've got less far
Could
to
you
run.
turn to? I think it's map 4.
Everyone went and then stopped.
Yep.
Run away, run away, run away now.
You ripped 4 out, didn't you?
Shut up.
It has a stream.
Shut up on your face.
It's got a string open.
Was it that one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'll do. That'll do. We'll use that one.
Scram.
Oh, okay.
I think that is actually
That's
map 4.
not quite
So
the.
yeah.
That's not quite the yes that I was looking for. But fine.
It'll do.
It certainly was in my mind's eye. The arrow bit is the bit that sticks.
Not once-
Anyway,
not
on
once
a-
James has had a
Right,
stanza.
on initiative, guys. Did anyone get 20 or above? 22. One for you. Oh, fleeting.
Do you want me to do fleeting?
Yeah, if you don't mind rolling fleeting, that'd be great.
He got a 13 on the roll, but let me just pull up his
His
stats.
dexterity's at least +1.
Yeah, so he's
I think it's probably. I think it's at most +1 as well.
Yeah.
If it isn't
Valid.
charisma, he doesn't get big bonuses very much.
Okay, so anyone else? 20 or above? No? 20 to 15?
19.
19.
16.
Oh, Malar with a 16. Lovely job. There you go. And we said fleeting was on
I think he's 14.
14. Okay, so I'm 15. So there you go.
13.
That puts you there. And I think that's everyone.
Could
Against
you
this one guy.
restore Fleeting's health? He's on death saves. On,
Oh.
I mean, he's on death.
Can you not? Or do
I
I?
know, we can't affect other people's characters.
I'll hang on.
He's made 3. Good.
Yeah, he stabilised, didn't he? I will update that. Apologies. Meanwhile, we're going to get the camera in place, and I've
Yeah, Drake.
and I'll
I've
give
got
you
more health than Fleeting has. Thank
one
you
thing.
very
I didn't
much.
give you your guys. I didn't give you your folks. I'm so sorry.
It's alright.
Oh, nice, thanks.
Not theatre of mind, my dear boy, although it doesn't really help our viewership.
I can swap between.
Alright.
Yeah. Check out this map with nothing on it.
Hey, look at my map.
That's fine, I need to put down Fleeting's well. I've got most of
We'll
Seth's.
tell
I've
you
got
what it,
friggin' Baja men stuck in my head.
Yes, I can really apologise for that. You can also swap out Seth's hair. There's some brown hair.
Seth is on the back of a horse, so if you've got a horse.
I have got a horse. Have a horse.
Seth needs to quickly look up how mounted combat works.
Ow.
Oh, steady on there. You're right.
Last
I've
time I
had-
was in
I've had
mounted
much,
combat
much worse
was
funny-
with someone with the mounted combat feat.
Well, I've currently lost Fleeting's head, so
Oh no.
it's in there somewhere. But he's going to have to, for now, have his wear head. So you've got Fleeting Wolf with you
Fleeting Quick.
currently. Fleeting Quick, yeah.
Mounted combat.
That's
Oh, and there's
right.
and there's
Oh my God.
Brucon.
Yeah, that's yeah.
That's terrifying.
So
Don't
that
look
was-
don't
that
look
was-
behind the curtain.
I'm
Deeply
sure we're coming in from
unnecessary.
over there.
Yeah, that's good. That's good to me. You've got the reptilian looking dude
Whereabouts? Second
in the.
page,
I'll put it
first-
somewhere in the centre
okay.
on the road.
On the road.
Yeah, on the road. And then you've got these horses will be where the other carriage is, which is kind of close to where you guys are. Yeah. And then you've got And you got the two little guys, who, for the sake of argument, are these two.
They are in combat with this disgusting
Exactly.
person.
Yeah.
This
Hideous
disgusting-
Jar Jar fucking.
So the only thing that's different on the map is the slight elevation thing, because there are kind of the road kind of meanders between two hills,
Okay. Bit of a
and there's actually a ford going through the road. But we'll say that's slightly up ahead, just for sake of argument. Okay.
Road low, sides high.
Exactly. And we can, if you wouldn't mind manoeuvring the camera into position. Top of the order is Seth.
Question about mounted combat.
Yes.
From what I understand, it shares my initiative.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean like I don't have to hold my action and then it's his turn that he moves forwards?
Yeah, so you can use his movement when
Yeah.
you're mounted, yeah,
If
and then it's
we move away
half
from
your
the-
movement to get off, I
Yes.
think.
If we're moving together and he's on
Good
like
idea.
my turn initiative, is he
Oh,
able to
you
take
could-
the action to like disengage while I'm on him? So that if we
So
fly
he
right
so he
by-
can't. I think he can't take separate actions to you if you're using it on the same initiative. It kind of counts as part of you until you're dismounted.
Okay. Oh no, that'll be fun. Yeah.
take the speed, man. Take the speed.
Don't take
What?
the speed.
What is this speed? What type of horse is
This is a riding horse, which is 60 feet, I think.
Right. Cool. So am I here?
Yeah, you're there. You're there. Go for it. What are you doing? It's your
So
turn.
they're over there, aren't they?
Yes.
Don't get sneak attack. Sorry. I mean, which one is the enemy?
The Jar Jar.
It's always Jar Jar.
Where's the third one?
But there was a third one.
Yeah.
Hmm?
Where's the third
There was
one?
only two. There were three people.
Oh.
One, which is the
The
third one's
initiative-
Gustav.
The
He's
initiative
here
of a
in his
controlled mount
thing.
changes to match yours when you mount it. It moves as you direct it and has three action options: dash, disengage, and dodge. Dodge, dive, and dodge.
Cool.
A controlled mount can move and act even on the turn that you mount it.
Here, next to it, so I'm going
Hey kids,
back
go
where I
watch
was. I dropped
Oh, God.
my
Yeah, that
Crossbow.
is dated as hell.
I
though,
drew my
isn't it?
rapier
Yeah.
as I charged towards it and going to hit it with a rapier.
Okay. Hit it with a rapier. So yeah, make an attack roll.
That's worse.
Would you just kill this thing already?
No, I did worse than my other roll, which just hit it, so 11.
11 is their armor class, so you hit it.
It's gonna be a short comeback.
Yep, yes it is.
Came out.
Oh, it's a lot of ones.
Yeah, there were also two
Worrying,
fives,
isn't
right?
it? You hear the timing, you're like, all your references are dated.
17 damage.
You describe to us how you take care of this foe.
Well, we know what the
Isn't-
XP for this session is going.
Going to charge over and as I'm on the horse, going to just straight up spear him with the rapier and raise him off the ground as we ride past.
And so it's there, like you raise it off
Shish
the ground.
kebab. You basically shish kebab this thing.
And you see this kind of green, kind of noxious gas emits from it as you kill it. You need to make a Constitution saving throw, as does the horse.
Horsey, no!
And now in such a fucking horse.
Boys, it's a good thing Marta's not here for this session.
Con save.
Don't harm the horse!
Oh, yeah,
Con save 13.
13 for you.
Yep, and the horse. What type of horse is it? A riding horse.
Riding horse, yep. Oh,
20.
20. So you both succeed. This fumy kind of it goes up your nose, but you manage to push it out and don't suffer the poison condition like until you just sharp exhale to kind of get rid of this noxious fumes.
I ride over
and let it
pull,
slide to the ground.
Stab it, light shining behind me.
Okay, you take care of that. You bring up your you've got it up anyway, presumably.
Oh, I don't look like a good guy.
So Highwayman comes in, just take care of two of them straight away. Shoot and stab. Quite literally. And with that, you take care of the immediate threat. There are no other enemies in sight at this time.
You have got all the XP for this combat
Phrasing.
character. I hope you feel pleased with yourself.
Phrasing.
With that,
Let's not send them
falls to the ground.
Give no one resistance.
And the two halflings just run straight over to you on the horse and go, oh, thank you so much. Thank you. We were just going for a walk and these things, I don't know what they were. I've never seen anything like it. These reptiles and you can see there's choking bits of blood start they start coughing out.
Are you okay?
This gas that they came out of them. It's horrible. And
I'm gonna yell, Mala! Mala! Hurry, Mala!
I guess we are running over at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah.
you guys can come join.
What
I'll be out of
seems to be
initiative.
going here on here?
Yeah, it's very short, this
I
one.
feel bad.
No, don't.
Mr. Seth, what is this?
Don't feel bad until we get to the XP bit, then feel bad.
Okay.
Mr. Seth, what, where,
I can't tell which one of your O's that is. This man needs medical
Thank you.
help.
Oh, this man is obviously dead. I say pointing to the lizard person.
The other living people.
Oh, I didn't see that. I'm awfully sorry.
That's
okay.
quite alright. Pompadour, Hunman Pompadour. This is my wife, Julia. Or we call her Juju.
I leave to go get my crossbow.
Okay.
To get that.
Alrighty. Go get your crossbow. Very sensible, yeah.
Hunman, what?
Hunman Pompadour.
And crossbow.
And his wife, Julia, otherwise known as Juju.
Juju Pumpadew.
Yeah, Juju Pompadour.
Can I give him a quick medicine check to see what ails them? Because I'm not aware of what's just happened.
Sure.
Are we spelling P-O-M-P?
Oh, that's good.
ER, and then Jew is in the morning Jew.
Oh, right, okay.
Pompadour.
Why did I assume that was a
Pompadour.
D? Why didn't I assume... words.
It's a Monday, man. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no worries.
It's a particularly Monday.
I got on my medicine check. 25.
25. Yeah, it seems that they've suffering from a poison of some variety from the gas that's been emitted from these things.
Sit down and let me see if I can sort of try and take them away from this thing and whatever and sit them down.
Yeah, and you and yeah, you as soon as you sit them down, get a bit of fresh air in them. It seems within a minute or so they start coming round.
Right, I need the magic.
Right,
Right, good.
Thank you so much. I've never seen anything like this before. Thank God you were here, hey? I must have the gods shining on us all. Of course, it is Festival, isn't it?
Oh, it is, indeed it is. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Deacon Malashade Creek. I'm of the Hammerburn Institute of the Aid, and indeed, I sense this may have been well, I certainly believe the gods had a hand in this moment. May Feste guide you.
And to you as well, friend.
My days have been somewhat confused as of late. What is the actual date?
It's the 2nd of Festiva.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you.
It was
thank you very
it was Festiva, the festival.
much.
The festival of Festiva.
My-
Yesterday.
I am all, my sleep cycle is all messed up.
Oh, no worries. It's
Don't say festival.
it's I'm sure Festiva Festi is watching over you. I'm sure.
Oh, I have no doubt. I just tapped my hand.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's mighty impressive. You must be. You're one of the clergy, aren't you?
Oh, indeed. I just introduced myself.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. You say you're one of of the Hammerfen. Ooh, fancy. Well, thank the gods you were here. Festir and Declan, all those guys.
The gods indeed watch over you.
Thank you,
Blessings of the aid upon you all both.
Oh, thank you. Thank you
Where
very
are you
much.
heading off to?
Well, we were just we like to go on walks. See, I mean, we're from Heroes Landing, and sometimes we like to go, exploring the foothills and stuff. And well, this happened, but it's quite unlike anything I've seen before.
What would you explain how these beings came upon you?
They followed the stream that way, and they just point the ford that seems to have a stream that's running. It seems to be sloping downwards to the east, to the west. Sorry. And you can also see there are some sort of muddy tracks.
Were they trying to take anything from you, or?
I think they were trying to take us, actually.
Oh, this is most curious.
There were bones.
What?
They have bones in their teeth. They look like human bones.
What is the time of day?
4
Very
o'clock.
hygienic.
It's about 4 o'clock. You should make your way back to wherever you've come from, your closest settlement. Stay safe.
Oh, I will. And yeah, if you're in Heroes Landing, come by our shop.
What shop?
Oh, we're a general store. It's Pumper and Co. Yeah, it'd be most appreciated. Thank you kindly.
Very welcome. Is the Rumble guy still here?
Yes, he is.
Has he spotted Brucon?
Well, he doesn't recognise Brucon. He saw him earlier, and he hasn't said anything.
Brucon was actually hiding there.
On
He
the
hasn't reacted.
precautionary principle, because he's
Just in case.
he's not so confident that he's not going to be clocked that he's just going to be kind of like roaming around in open view.
Excuse me, sir. We are not familiar with the terrain here. How far from Heroes Landing are we at the moment?
Oh, we're only a few hours out. A few hours walk that is. On those horses, you'll probably be there in 1.5, 2
Hours?
Yeah, not far.
You
should get there before nightfall.
Oh, we should leave now. We don't have any space for these two, do we?
Not really.
How far away was it where you came from?
An hour or two away.
No, where they came from. Did they come? Did
Yeah.
you come
They
from?
came
From down, they walked out.
We did. We came from town. Yeah.
Good luck.
To the elements, you are.
What?
What's up?
Where's my boy? He was here.
There it is.
God damn
I
it!
was waiting for it.
Everything.
But it's just there, like there's a penny lurking somewhere up there. It's going to drop in a minute.
Jake Lazarus says, yes, you should come by our shop, our pet shop. We exclusively sell small, vulnerable puppies.
Fuck everyone right now.
I'm sorry, you forgot you had a child?
No, he was right here. I mean, he's always getting into to scraps and stuff. He's always going wandering off, but well, with these lizard things around, I don't want to... Pip!
Don't worry, we've got a good bloodhound. Fleeting, get boy.
Yes? Just fleeting, he obeys and comes up to you.
To be fair, if you want someone to sniff something out, the prime candidate is large and grey
We'll
and
go
sat
for
to
our
my left.
dog people first.
Pumpered you.
And they're just looking on the ground. And they're just the two halflings are looking on the ground at the corpses. There were
He's an infant, aren't they?
there were three. There was 3 of these things. Where's the third one?
She's a freak kid,
I think
I could have sworn we would have one left over.
They came from
This is
that
the
way,
worst day.
down the stream. Please, if you, we're not adventuring types. You look like you can handle yourself. Well, you certainly can handle yourself. You wouldn't
The
mind.
rest of the rest
You
of the
can
party.
yourself
Fine,
go-
yeah, no
go
worries.
to town with
Just,
the werewolves.
go on.
Please, I do anything.
Come on, Seth, you got this. It's all
Yeah,
yours.
yeah, come on. Dude, there's one of them. You just killed 2 of them.
I need to roll a moral.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Pip,
I rolled a 2 and a 5.
Pip pumpered you. Yep. Yep. It's
Cool.
happening.
Cool.
Fun with names.
How
Pip
you
pumpered
said
you.
you
Juju
came from
pumpered you.
down the river. Do you know how long?
I don't know where they came from. They're outside, but just they came from down they were following the stream by the looks of it.
Mr.
We were
Seth,
taken quite by surprise.
if we act now, they may not be too far away. There's only one of them on foot. You have a horse. I would advocate that if you can maybe take Brucon and go ahead, we will follow up on foot.
Does someone else want to go on the horse and I'll run? Because
With Brucon on the horse.
I mean, if you go on the horse, I can keep up.
Oh,
Running.
Mr. Seth, if I get on a horse, there's a good possibility I may kill it.
Very, very fucking true.
Also, I mean, if running alongside a horse is what we're after, I mean, I think Brucon could feasibly
Actually, just keep pace.
Yeah, basically.
Alright.
But no point in using
Brucon.
the thing.
Brucon, let's roll.
Yep, that's right.
All right, so you two run off ahead. Yeah.
We're going to try and follow the river. From horseback, well, before we make a move, are we able to see a rough trail of
Make a survival check.
something
Yeah.
like, kid being dragged marks?
Yes, good idea.
Should Brucon
Natural 1.
Brucon have a stab at a...
From your new height,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
hard to see so well.
But survival, was it?
Yeah, should be good for you. I would have thought.
No.
No.
6.
Oh.
Is
Only
that the banana?
only really the general direction that you're given. There's no noticeable tracks, but
Let's ride.
scuff marks and stuff seem to be follow. So you follow the stream heading down that way. As for the 3 of you left behind, is there anything that you wanted to do before catching up with the other 2?
Are these horses available for use?
So they're pulling Gustav's carriage.
Break the carriage. Steal the horse.
Reassure Thingy and Doodah. And then
Hunman and
We're
Julie.
gonna find Tinky
Julie?
Winky.
Julia.
Yeah, but Julia.
Julia.
Juju, Pumpaju.
And then I
Julia or Juju
I
Pumpkin.
only just got this.
I don't know.
I was wondering when you were going to get that.
I only just got that.
The Juju thing in the chat, yeah. In the Discord, which if you haven't joined our Discord, you should.
Oh,
The
right.
links to it. Anyway, yes. Sorry, what was the question?
Should we give chase? We're going to give chase.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, Gustav, before you leave, says, no worries, I can give these two a lift, or perhaps we'll keep them in the carriage and keep them safe until the boy has returned. Yeah. All right.
Yes, I think that's a smart move, and we'll
Thump, thump, thump,
follow
thump,
after
thump,
our
thump, thump, thump.
foolhardy.
So,
You guys can, on examining these lizard things before you leave, can make nature checks, both of you, if you'd like.
Nature.
Nature.
What's your
I mean,
non-boot to
I'm
speed
better
action?
at it, but not survival.
Not survival
sorry.
for examining
Non-boot to
them,
speed
no.
action.
Okay, that's fine.
Speed.
I'm better at nature.
It's 40 feet. Brucon's base speed is 40 feet.
I mean, but if I roll badly, it doesn't matter. 6.
I rolled all right, so I got
So
17.
you're right.
17. Okay, so you've read about such beings. These are known as troglodytes.
Ooh.
Nailed
That's
it.
what
Yes,
it was. I'm
I'm glad the description was good too. That you got it. Like that's great.
Like first sentence, I'm like, here is a picture.
Yeah, quite. That's great. So you know that these things are noxious. They're like they're kind of
Yeah. It's not a
lizard-like
slard, it
humanoids.
just looks a bit like one.
dwell in the depths, in the darkness.
That's what
in
I
the
was really
far,
worried
far
about. I was
depths.
like, no slard,
And,
please.
Oh,
No slad.
Gas
That's
is an
interesting.
issue with them. Their stench is noxious and causes poisoning. Lines up with what you've seen with the two halflings. All right, so you two are both on the horse. Is that right?
Yep.
No, you're on my horse.
Yeah.
Can also, okay, perfect.
Okay, so you know it's okay going at first, but the track does get muddier and less. It gets a bit narrower, not so easy for a horse to traverse, and eventually you recognise you can't go at speed with the horse. You'd have to slow right down to a walk. It'd be easier to go on foot at this point and following the stream along.
Get off and walk or run.
Sure. Are you? How attached to the horse are you?
Are we near the stream?
Yes,
I don't mean
you're
to-
following the stream. Yes.
Yeah, so I'm going to leave the horse there. I'm not going to slide up in case it gets attacked.
Okay.
So I don't want it to get eaten. But I'm going to leave it there and I'm going to be like,
Does it?
horse.
Yeah,
So we're gonna
does
just-
it come when you call? I can't remember what the level of.
Don't think so yet. So I'm going to be like, horsey, you stay here, get a little bit of food in the pocket, and I'm just going to put it near the river. It's like, stay,
So,
as we
yes.
back away, and
Yeah.
then we'll start
Right.
dashing.
All right. Yeah, make an animal handshake with advantage because using the food, and take one set of rations off of your pack.
Straight 0, so it's
You handle that horse.
19.
19. Yeah, it obeys your every command.
Horse handled successfully.
And especially being convinced with the food, it's very pleasant.
His speed of 80, I need to double dash to keep up.
Sure.
I'm
you
not
guys-
using the booster speed right now.
No, but your speed of 80, I still need to use dash.
Oh, I see. Oh,
Action and bonus action to double dash to keep up with you.
okay.
But there's the two of you as you whiz along.
I mean, I can move slower. 40 feet is not. Is it?
But I wouldn't-
Bruker is not a jet engine. He
He-
is capable of
No, like
moving.
You're moving like 80 feet, and I can keep up with that speed.
Either way,
Okay.
you expediently move
fine, yeah.
towards things because it doesn't really matter
Yeah,
at this
yeah,
point
yeah.
what speed you're going. Following the stream, and you can see just from sight that it's getting deeper and faster flowing this stream as you go along. Until what
So
you
we're
can see
going,
up
we're
ahead
going
of you.
downhill.
You're going downhill, yeah, and what you can see up ahead of you is a rock formation of entirely sort of pure stone, but it's like a collection of large rocks. And the stream seems to be heading that way. You guesstimate the stream's now roughly about 2 feet deep at this point. And it seems to be heading straight towards this rock formation, though you can't see any discernible way through from here without going into the stream itself.
How far have they moved away from the horse?
So they've moved about 80 feet from the horse.
Okay. And how
Didn't
far
take very
behind are we?
So you'll be a few minutes behind. It's
Okay.
not that far away.
Okay. I'm gonna let these guys do what they need to do for the next minute.
You officially named the horse Horsey, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we got to the stream,
Yeah.
how fast flowing is it at the point where we goes into rock formation?
Relatively, It's a similar pace to when you were in the caves underneath Flaming Jacks.
Can I successfully swim in it?
You could swim in it, sure.
Okay. Can I?
Sorry, it's too shallow for you to swim, but you well, because it's about maybe 2 feet, so you might be a bit.
So we can
You do that thing like in the nursery pool where you kind of like
we can just walk
float and then
Yeah.
pulleys over
Walk
up.
in it.
That saves my next question, which I was going to make, since we are also by the stream further up. I was going to be looking for like bubbles to see if maybe this. Because these are like
But it's
slimy
too
creatures.
shallow. It's
Yeah.
actually very shallow. Like it almost dribbles across the ford.
So
Okay.
right
So-
now we can just see the stream going towards rock formation.
Yeah.
Do we see anywhere else they could have taken this challenge?
I'll tell you what. Why don't you make a perception check?
Both of us?
Yeah, you both can if you'd like. Yeah.
9.
9.
9. Yeah. No, you can't see any other way that they could have gone, and you can't see any way through the rocks at this point either.
Can I wade into the water and
Yeah.
look underwater because you won't be able to see the water?
Okay. So, as you wade into the water, yeah, you can feel that whilst the water is fast moving, that's not the real problem. The real problem is the silt and shell kind of on the bed is not particularly stable. So this is difficult terrain, this area. I need you to make a dexterity check.
24.
24, you're fine. You keep your footing. You do feel that some less gainly persons might have a problem here.
Yeah, Brooke, as Seth sort of starts wading in, Brooke and goes, I'm not sure, that does not look like my optimal environment. You go that way and I'll move around.
I'll see if I can see anything under the water and we'll see if we can find out where they've gone.
Yeah.
So
Okay, but we're going to go for the classic pincer maneuver.
I'll head under the water. See if I should be
See what you can see.
water. So I'll
Yeah,
try and
so
see
make a
if I can
perception check with your head underwater this time. But because of your background, you won't need disadvantage on this.
19.
19. So, looking underwater, actually things become a lot clearer to you, weirdly. What you can see...
Strange for an aquatic creature.
You can see the trail of this stream, and you can see just on the edge of your vision that it suddenly plummets. There's a gushing of water, similar to a waterfall.
There was no waterfall when we were.
As in further down that you're looking through in the water.
Okay.
Underneath the rock slide, maybe.
Okay, so since
no.
the waterfall, I'm going to come out of the water so I don't go
Fall.
through.
Okay.
I think there's a waterfall up ahead. So
Yep.
Can we move to the other side of the rock formation?
It's rather large, and it looks like there isn't any stable footing to get around the rock formation from where you are, because you're kind of in a valley.
Okay.
So I've lost track of where we are.
So you're looking at a rock formation ahead of you, which the stream is going into. You're
Yeah.
on one side of the stream, but in order to, you can't really go much further now without having to go around this rock formation, which could take an hour to get around. It's
So
just
I
a big
think
old
the critical thing is that we're not. It's not like a kind of big open foresty thing. It's
No.
it's
Yeah.
a narrow.
It's a narrow.
It's
yeah.
a kind of water cut valley. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
When hearing rock formation, I'm like
A stone.
a mound
Yeah.
in my mind.
No, several.
Yeah.
It's like the Emin Muir from Lord of the Rings.
I think
Oh, very nice. Yeah. At this point, the
Razor
rest of the
sharp
group
rocks.
catch up with
Well,
you.
hang on. Before this, we would have seen this horse, just the horse there, right?
Yes.
I grabbed Mr. Mr. Loren. Is that Mr. Surf's horse?
Yes.
I would like to ride it.
No, wait, Mr. Fleeting. Mr. Surf cares quite deeply about that horse. Where is he? He wouldn't just leave it alone.
It's like his only friend.
I know.
What?
No, Mr. Fleeting, Mr. Leogren is correct. We should proceed with caution. I would like to stealthily approach the horse.
Okay. Can you make a stealth check?
you realise if
17.
you get a good stealth check, you can scare the shit out of the horse.
17.
Stealth horse, stealth horse.
The horse does not see you coming.
You're my stealth horse.
Oh there. I just gently pat it.
Make an animal handling check. Yeah.
Cocked.
Damn, bro.
19 will take.
19. Yeah. Okay.
19
So
plus
it
whatever.
recognises your dulcet tones and doesn't.
Okay,
Not
so-
too surprised.
Oh, do I look around? Do I see anything?
So you can see the stream heading further down. You can see just in the distance these two. It's
Do I
still
recognise
alive.
these two?
You recognise, yeah, that given their
How
general.
many people do you come across with a top knot wearing a robe?
You
that
are
looks?
80 foot away.
Yeah.
I don't understand distance.
You do all
Some
the,
glasses.
and at this point, the tiefling just pushes past you and goes, "I'm going after my friend," and just starts running after you two.
Oh, Mr. Leo, it's fine. I see them. They're fine.
Okay,
They're over here. They're fine.
good. We'll go there.
We catch up.
You catch up. Okay, so now with the rest of you, so it seems that the path you are following eventually gets cut off by the starting of this rock formation. It looks like you can't go any further without going through, without finding some way through the formation currently. With you two there as well, I'll say that given
When we say formation, we like sort of like lots of
there's an
chimneys
outcropping
and
of lots
things.
of rocks,
Yeah.
lots of big rocks.
Is it like very
over-
kind of spiky?
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, they're not jagged rocks; they're quite smooth.
No, but I mean,
But, yeah.
lots of bits of rock
Yes.
just poking out.
Exactly so, which makes it hard to discern a track. But over time, over the next 10 minutes while you're there, you do figure out that actually there is a kind of crack in the rocks that you can move through.
Has he told
But
us
you have
Shit,
to,
Kraken? No!
but the only way that you'd have to go through the stream to get into, it looks like there's a cave mouth or something up ahead. The only way through would be to go traverse the
We
stream.
would have to go streaming.
It's walls within walls. That's like 16
Should we head
walls.
through the underwater path?
Oh, well, how deep a drop do you think it is, Mr. Sir?
I don't know. It does. It looks like it goes down, but I'm not sure I'll be able to get back up to confirm how far it goes.
I don't want to go down without being able to get back up, Mr. Sir. That's just a thought. Maybe we could get a little bit closer and investigate.
Would I be able to swim closer to take a look, or does it look like it literally goes straight?
I mean, you couldn't really swim properly either way because it's too shallow. But you could walk. And you've already passed your check, so you could go through no problem.
Can I move closer to
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah. So you, as you kind of work your way around these rocks, you then kind of find this cave mouth, and you can see that there is a stone ledge inside. This cave mouth almost takes the form of a chimney. And you're standing on a ledge, kind of a stone precipice almost, just overlooking where the waterfall cascades down. With your dark vision, you can see, because there's no light in here, 50 feet down into a pool, an underground lake below. 50 feet straight down.
So there's any way back up?
Make a perception check.
13.
Not that you can see. You're not sure quite how anyone would have got up or down here without
So it's
the
50
obvious
feet
drop.
drop.
But this chimney type bit arrangement that you're in is roughly 20 feet in diameter, kind of circular.
I'm going to relay this back to everyone while I'm still standing there, so I think they can hear me.
Yeah, like shouting over the
Brucon
water,
produces, as if from hammer space, a length of rope and a grappling hook, and goes,
Is there anything we can tie it to?
there's a grappling hook.
Is there anything we can grapple it
There's
to?
There's lots of
rock
rock
formations.
walls,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so-
Whole area is rocks all over.
I'm sure you could have a look and see what you can find.
Based on my realisation of troglodytes earlier, cave dwellers, yeah? I will relay that number one, troglodytes, number two, yes, caves, cave dwellers,
We have
yes.
to go into the cave.
Also poison.
Let's
Also poison, yes.
grapple and climb down.
Yep.
Can I? Sorry.
That
Sorry.
was really.
No,
I
sorry.
was like, what's
sorry. I was gonna just be like, can I just jump down? And I was like, not everyone's there yet. And I was like, because I remember I had to bring a feather fall and I've never had a chance to use it.
Yeah. All right.
But I don't want to be the first one to go in again.
Yeah.
Okay. So
there's a very, very, very clear.
so the rest of you need to make
Candidates for
dexterity
going in
checks to traverse the water.
Yeah, baby.
Okay.
Well, even if we're grappling, like if we're abseiling.
Because you need to get to him at the ledge. You need to go through the stream to get there.
Gotcha. Dexterity check.
Dexterity check. Yeah. I've rolled for fleeting. You got 15 on the dice. He's
Can
fine.
I be ready
Bro.
in case someone starts to come very quickly towards me?
Sure. Okay. Yeah.
Like if
that sounds
someone
good.
slips,
You
starts
can
to
go,
go towards the stream,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and it's about to go over a cliff.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Man,
Of
you
course.
are
Yeah,
sucking it today.
rolling like absolute hot garbage. That's a 7.
7. Oh. Okay. And the rest of you?
14.
14's fine.
Nat 20, baby.
Oh, baby. Hi-oh. Or oh.
Minus 12? What?
Dex, no, just flat.
And at times it seems the balance is trying to keep you in check, Brucon, because up until this point your acrobatic displays have been quite extravagant and some would say gratuitous, and
They might say that, but they're wrong.
And it seems that Alusha is having some fun as you are taking head over heels, and suddenly you are floating down the river. You can attempt to grab him.
What is this?
So it's a grapple check.
I got a 1.
You could grab him. And you missed, but was it a natural one?
Natural 1.
Okay. So you go to grab him.
Okay, we're going over.
You need to make... No, it's a natural one. Alright. So, Brucon, unfortunately, you try to grab out for your friend Seth.
Yeah.
And Seth tries to grab
That
you.
guy you know.
And then as you try to grab him in your desperation, you overbalance on the ledge and you both start falling down the waterfall. Now, you have the ring of feather falling,
Yeah.
which will activate. So you will be fine.
Am I able
You
to
start floating down.
hold on to him or like?
You've already missed the check,
Yeah,
so
fair,
you're
fair.
already above him.
Okay.
You plummet.
I have slow fall.
But you have
Do
slow fall
you?
because you're a monk.
I'm a monk.
Yes!
You've got that now.
Yeah.
So that reduces the damage by
20.
20. Okay, good. You need this. That's very
Oh,
good.
wow. Oh well, this fills me with full of fucking joy.
I'm so
How
happy that
long
this
is
is
this
you
drop?
because this could have been bad. 50
50
feet straight down.
Oh yeah, you do need it.
But you're landing in a lake
You
of
could've
water
died!
below. So
Yeah.
We were talking about this.
The baseline assumption involving Leobrin is he could die at any time.
We were talking about this.
Waking
We
up.
said that the cut-off point of the minimum
So-
fall damage is 40.
So it would have been 10 points of bludgeoning damage because the water does it's a deep pool below, so it takes off some of the bludgeoning damage. But because of your monk-like bit of reflexes, you suddenly kind of turn it into a dive and hit the water.
Yeah.
It's cut cleanly into the water, no damage at all.
If there wasn't water, I was going to ask if we could both superhero landing. But can we
Moments
both,
later,
Yeah.
Break
can we
some knees.
synchronize
Yeah.
dive over the thing?
I mean,
Yeah.
he's definitely going to land first because you're feather falling.
Yeah.
But you can do the same
I'd like to
thing,
follow
slightly
him
after him.
and
Yeah,
follow
yeah, sure,
exactly
sure.
I like the thing that Brucon's like, ooh, like 50 feet down and fall, and then just when he hits the water, there's just this tiny little.
So you need to make I'll make an acrobatics check then, just to see how you can keep up with the monk.
9.
Always good when I get to exploit bullshit monk abilities.
Yeah, that sounds
17.
nice. 17. Yeah, so you ably perform your dive as well.
Do you get down, resurface, look up, he's still coming down, you're like, come on then.
Yeah.
He's just like,
From
Brucon swims away over to the side
I'm
and just
going
sits
down
there.
As I start falling.
As you two resurface, you see you can see with your dark vision that there, as well as this lake, there is to one side a water wheel, and just next to it, it seems to be an abandoned stone building with a chimney. The water wheel itself is turning.
As we're both floating there in the pool, we're going, come down, the water's great.
Unfortunately, you guys up top are going to struggle to hear anything that's being said below because of the rushing of water.
Because of a waterfall.
Yeah, and similarly, you can't hear what's going on up there.
So there's a wheel that's turning in, that's in with its bottom in the water.
Exactly.
That we're in.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you have the grappling
Yes.
hook?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking right now. How tall is the wheel at its tallest point, roughly today?
Roughly 10 feet.
10 feet. Okay. Brucon swims over to the wheel, lashes together the grappling hook and the rope, and has it in the old over the shoulder style.
Yeah.
Grabs the wheel and rides it as is it being turned by the water.
The water is
Yeah.
turning. The waterfall is
Okay.
giving that energy.
Grabs it
to
and
turn,
rides
yeah.
it up to the top, and on the way up, having basically the aim here is to at the top of the wheel do the classic
Throw the
grappling
grappling
hook
hook.
and then throw it
Yeah.
back up the way it came.
Try and get it onto the ledge up the top.
Yes.
Okay, yes, right. There's going to be a difficult throw, but
Yeah.
well, I have every faith.
Is anyone there to catch it?
So make.
Well, they all didn't. They all. I mean, he critted the check, so.
to stay upright in
And
the
we
water.
just-
Yeah, with that we can't hear you. We don't know what's happened.
No, that's right. But I mean, the purpose here is to try and get the grappling hook up top.
Yeah.
That's the key thing.
So make an attack roll, but it's with disadvantage because I think
Yeah.
the normal throw of
Yeah,
a
yeah,
grappling
yeah,
hook is going to be
I'm-
about 20, so 60 is its maximum. So you
Okay.
can do it, but it's disadvantage.
Improvised throwing 20 foot.
Improvised, yeah.
Do I get to use dexterity for the?
Dexterity,
I
yep.
think.
Yeah, dexterity. I will say dexterity.
Oh
for this.
no! With disadvantage, that is poor. That will be. How was it? Yeah, 9.
9. So you throw it, but underestimate the power of this waterfall, the sheer velocity of this water as it kind of instead of cutting through, it just gets taken straight down back into the water, and then you're sadly standing on this wheel as you go back into the water.
Yeah.
While he's doing this,
Brucon, he's going to hold his breath so that when he goes, like once it's done a full rotation, he's completely unmoved. He hasn't moved one muscle.
while he's doing
Love it.
this,
Yes.
can I just have literally just the top of my eyes out of the water,
Yep.
keeping a view of everything?
Sure.
So I'm assuming
Gina
that a
Davis,
grappling
longest
hook,
good night.
2 large splashes could have
Gina
attracted
Davis,
me.
longest.
Yeah, that's fair.
Can
Make
you
it.
not Legend of Zelda swim up this waterfall?
Yeah.
I don't think
Yeah,
I have
fish
that
boy.
power. So
With this waterfall, I don't think that will happen anyway because it's
Has it
overhang. There's an
Are you
overhang.
are you in fact part elf, part salmon?
I have an 18 on the perception check for keeping watch while Brucon's trying to get the grapple off there.
Okay, you are keeping a vigilant eye on what's going on.
The only thing Brucon does do is as he goes under the water on the wheel is reel in the rope and so he can have another stab at it.
So the 3 of you up the top. Well, I mean 2 of you plus fleeting. What are you going to do currently? These 2 have
So
plummeted
are we
down.
at the ledge?
You're at the ledge. You've seen Brucon. You've seen Brucon go, and then you've seen what looked like Seth plummet after him as well.
We've definitely called a few times.
Yeah.
Seth!
Yeah,
Brucon!
it's too.
Okay, close
It's
up.
too real, Roy.
I'm going to pull out my continual flame torch
Yay!
and just sort of, it's like a regular torch. Do I see it? Because it's got a range of light out to 60 foot, dim light, I think.
Are you
Oh,
using?
I used it. Oh,
Bright
torch,
light
no.
30, dim
Fine,
light
I think it's 2020 or 15
2020.
15.
2020 to 40, so I'm not even seeing
Are you using that or are you using the lantern of revealing?
I'm
Because you can get 60 with that.
Okay, so I try with the continual flame. I keep that out. I keep it in the trunk. I pull out the lantern of revealing to give me a bit of extra range because it focuses it. Do I see anything with the lantern?
Yes.
You see the Batman spotlight.
So as well as revealing the fact that the walls are kind of mottled and they look like they have climbing, like handholds, occasionally kind of spiraling around this chimney.
There's a fucking invisible door.
You also see a creature lurking on the edge of the ledge. Another one of these
Up
lizard
with
looking,
us.
another troglodyte up with you. You just shine the light and it's there, 10 feet away from you. Roll initiative.
Yay-o.
You guys are on initiative 2, yeah.
If
When
you
was that
could not-
before?
if you could
Oh
not
my
one shot this
God.
one, that'd be great.
I made no promises.
Oh wait a minute! I just realised that. Oh my god!
He's down. What?
This is a first.
You've made the You've made the jump.
No, my initiative roll. There's something distinctive about it.
20 or above.
21,
That's,
baby.
that's what I mean.
Hey!
Oh, you made the jump. You've got it right.
21 as well.
Oh, sorry.
We have to roll. We have to roll off.
Roll off, yeah, or however you want to set
Who's
it.
high stats? Actually, both of you probably.
15?
We're 14. So that would be Seth.
1, 2. Still.
buddy. You still broke.
That's
the,
all right.
uh,
It's getting above 20 was the significant.
Fleeting. If you wouldn't mind.
Blade hang.
13.
13. What did you guys get?
12.
12?
15.
15. 15, 13, 12.
Me.
Alright. Probably should bring some suitable music into play, really, shouldn't I?
Da, 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 da.
For the start of my turn, I'm not looking at the waterfall. I'm looking the opposite way
Yep.
to the entire cave,
Mhm.
bar the waterfall, because
Yep.
I've just come that way and it was safe. So I see nothing, and I'm just going to keep.
You keep searching. Do you want to? You can. Okay. Yeah. Just keep looking.
I got a good perception check before, like. it was
You got
like-
an 18. Yeah.
Yeah, 18,
that was
so-
good.
Yeah, I'm just looking out.
Mhm.
I'm not going to attack the bed or anything because how big's the cabin?
It's quite large. The cavern you're currently in. This chamber.
And I'm pretty hidden because I'm literally just like at some
It's literally just your head.
Yeah, so I'm trying to be as inconspicuous as possible in the water in
Mhm.
case I do see something to attack. But
Yep.
yeah, okay, I'm just hiding. Use action to hide.
Excellent. Okay. So,
Look on.
Brucon, also at the bottom.
Where on the wheel is Brucon right?
Actually, here's a good point.
Here's your turn.
Can you get rid of the map, please? Because I have
Oh.
another map.
Which number? Someone else do it.
No,
So just close it
Close
and
it.
then remove it
Use
because
it.
I have
thing.
self-built stuff.
Do we need the?
The water can stay. Need that because you're in the water.
Ah.
He had a plan.
I love those.
So.
That feels like
That's-
right.
Plans are our thing.
Yeah.
and
Oh,
one
so-
day-
I'm so sorry.
and One day we will follow through with one.
That's very true.
Plans are a thing, and one day we will have.
How long is this going to take?
I'm going to try and
Did
be
we have
quick.
what was the thing we had a plan for that one time? when we were
So
trying
you
to-
guys are up on the ledge,
We've got a plan for everything. They have never gone well.
and then you've got sort of stuff there. Well, sorry, there. That's where the waterfall, the water wheel and house whatever is.
A wheel.
Where's that little nest quick?
Edge of the shore there as well.
Where's the
Jar
Jar
Jar.
Jar?
Jar.
Because he's sort of
And then you've got
Is brood.
these.
right?
Yeah.
Oh, he's over there.
Yeah, and you got
Wheel,
you've got the edge
When
of this
Jar
kind of
Jar
area
meets Juju.
here. That's kind of the way down. Okay. Or get the action cam up probably should be
There's
nice.
a hole in my map.
He's in the water.
So that's your kind of spiral down.
Riser,
And
riser.
the riser. Here's the riser.
Pop your. Oh my word.
So we can put you guys up here.
Because you have it and you will fucking use it.
I bloody will.
We're upstairs.
That's actually really
I don't
unhelpful,
think this
that
is
isn't
gonna
it?
work with
There you
the
go.
camera.
Gonna have
It's
to
a-
rise up that camera, hoik the camera.
Where am I?
You're also up there,
Where am
Uh,
I?
in there. And Fleeting's with you.
Flutang, Flutang. Ole.
Angle this guy up.
Yes. Fleeting bunny.
Or just to hold
Meanwhile, and Brucon is.
Over here somewhere, this is the wheel.
Oh, that's the water wheel there. So
Yeah.
I'm here looking away from everything.
So if we assume that Brucon's there.
it. Can you believe that worked?
Right. So where's Brucon in terms of the rotation of the wheel? Like,
So you're on top of the wheel.
and at the top of its arm.
Yes, the top of it's up.
Okay. Round attempt number 2 on the grappling hook procedure.
Yep.
Brucon has no.
Knew that would happen.
Disaster.
Knew that would happen.
Brucon's no idea what's.
Try to be clever. Don't try to be clever, kids.
That's
the,
more like it. So that's a 14.
a 14
Yes.
to throw the grappling hook.
Yes.
Yes. With disadvantage as well. Great. Okay,
Yeah.
with that, yes, you do. It does connect this time, guys. You hear a clunk
Yeah.
as a grappling hook lands on the ledge by you.
Cool. And then Brucon goes, Seth, we've. I'm going up. Spot me.
What?
I'm going back up.
Okay.
And Brucon attempts to swarm
Sorry.
up the rope.
Is the rope tight?
Ooh, climbing the rope.
The-
Okay.
The grappling hook is fastened at the top, but the bottom's trailing.
I'm just got there. I'll keep a lookout still.
So this will be an
You're
athletics
going all
check.
apocalypse now on this.
I'm staying on the water.
Nice.
I can breathe.
He's like commando style.
I can
Athletics.
breathe underwater. I just need to have my eyes there.
19.
Okay, that is enough. So yeah, you can start making your way up half speed.
Yeah.
So you're
Be 20 feet.
20 feet away
Yeah.
from where you currently are. So position yourself 20 feet away. We'll put a little die onto you. So
Would
we
that
know
make
you're up in the
so
air.
it'll be 30? What's the height interval here?
It's 50 foot at the top where the
Yeah.
grappling hook is. That's about 25. Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Just put yourself on there for safety.
put me on there.
Yeah, you can put yourself on there. That's
Yeah.
fine. All right. So you're halfway up the rope. That's your go. All right, Seth. You see appearing from the shallows, from the coast. I say coast. You know what I mean? From the water's edge.
yeah.
You see a couple of figures
I set
here.
it up.
How close to me are they?
They are above you. They're about
No.
10 feet up from
Ron.
You're going to be fine. You two
you. Not wrong. And another figure you can just hear another one behind.
It's the kid.
But you don't know what it is. You can see these two more troglodytes. They're armed with bows, and they at this stage don't see you. They do see Brucon, however,
Little place.
Oh, no.
on his rope, and they're going to take shots at you with these arrows.
Oh, shit, okay.
Not. Oh, that's okay. So
Where did they come from? these ones?
so they came from in the cavern out this way. So it's not just a lake. There's obviously the shore with the.
Very
with
So
annoying.
the
Yeah.
cabin's 30 feet away from us. So the cabin's quite close then.
Yeah.
The entrance, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty close. So does a... They're not very dexterous. Does a 19 hit?
Yes. Hang on.
One of them hits you then, and the other one
Yeah.
was 12, which I think misses.
Annoyingly, the printout of my character sheet cuts off the details, so let me just double check. But you better bet your ass I'll be using my reaction to
Catch that missile.
deflect
Yeah,
this
baby.
missile.
All right.
Yeah, your AC is 17.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Okie dokie.
It's missile catching. That's the
Yeah.
Ah,
They're not very good with those, but 3 points of piercing damage
Right. Hang on. Oh well, then.
yeah,
Oh,
you,
yeah.
you use
Well,
your
then I
action.
automatically succeed in
with your
reducing
reaction
it to
to
0.
catch it.
You can
Yeah.
also throw it.
Burns
Yeah,
it.
might as well. So burn a key point.
Burn a key point. Throw that missile back
Return.
at the one without the
sender.
head. That's the one that hit.
Message unknown. Okay, so this will be +6.
Oh dear.
11.
11 is their armor class.
Ah!
Hey.
Well, then
So you
they
do
take
hit.
7 points of damage.
7 points of damage to that one. He's still up. Looks ropey, but you've hit him. All right.
It's funny. I'm looking pretty ropey at myself at the moment.
And you look up, and you can just on the edge of your dark vision, you can see
Yeah.
behind those two troglodytes is this. It's the size of an ogre. This
King.
amphibious-looking being. It's like a cross between an
What?
ogre and a toad. It's
A toga.
A troglodyte.
You just said amphibious.
amphibious-looking. Yes.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
my shtick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was not happy with it. It's not.
You'll be hearing from my lawyers, buddy.
So it looks very built, with a very large belly and two very much frog-like yellow eyes, and a very large tongue. It's just currently cleaning one of its eyes.
Would it be? In terms of checks to figure out if I have any idea what this thing is that an option?
Not at this stage because it's
Okay.
too. You haven't got enough of a visual on
Right.
it yet
Yeah.
to
Okay.
fully
You can see
grasp
a
what it
frog-like
is.
shape
Exactly.
that is unpleasant.
What colour is it though? Troglodytes are green, aren't they?
Well, it's in complete darkness there, so you won't get colour.
Oh, sorry.
Dark
Unfortunately.
vision.
You only get
No,
shades.
but even in dark vision, it's monochrome. So.
Yeah.
On
Oh,
to
yeah, that's what you were
Mr.
saying.
Malar.
So with the lantern.
Oh, I forgot about the guy up there. I'm sorry, he should be
Yeah.
attacking you. Sorry, sorry. Then it'll be you next. I swear. Does he did? Okay, so first attack.
Is he meleeing?
He is. He's going to run in and he's going to try and take a
He's in a
swing
Malar.
at
He's
you.
in a Malar with melee.
Does a 20 hit?
Yeah.
Okay, fortunately not a lot of damage. You take 6 points of slashing damage as its first claw collides into you. Second claw, natural 1. It cuts itself and does a point of damage to itself. And then in its frustration, it roars out and tries to take a bite at you. Does a 15 hit?
Nope.
No. You pull up your shield,
The shield isn't out just yet.
pull up your quarterstaff, or whatever you've got.
Isn't out. It's just,
You pull up your trunk and just whack around the way. Okay, now it's your turn.
Finish them off. So I've got.
Attacking you ferociously, like just in a frenzy.
I've
Just
got the
going at
lantern
you.
in one hand. I've got the torch in the trunk. So if I
You've got one hand free. Yeah.
give me a
Wisdom.
wisdom save.
Is this Toll the Dead? Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
DC
thought so.
40.
Troll
And he
the
did
Dead.
one point of damage to himself, so he is wounded.
Troll the Dead.
Well, 7 on the dice will fail. So yeah, do a d12 of damage.
10 points of necrotic damage.
Okay, that takes him to. Oh, he's looking ropey. He's not dead, but he's looking messed up.
Is he now visible to everybody?
Yes, he's now visible. Now he's jumped out at you. He's visible. Yeah.
Was Toll the Dead.
But
not
it's
a
his
core?
skin is interesting
No.
in that it was unlike the ones you saw on the road. It has like a greyish tone, like it replicates the rock around
Oh,
you.
okay. It's camouflage. rather
But
than
I should
visible.
say what I should have done this at the beginning of your turn. I'm so sorry. Can you make a Constitution saving throw?
Saving throw, Constitution.
Yep.
9.
So you would have failed, which means you're poisoned until the start of the creature's next turn, which actually meant that with the attack you should have had disadvantage, right? If
It
you're
was a
poisoned.
save.
You're rolling.
Oh, it was saved, so it's
Yeah,
fine. Ignore it. We're great. We're good. Thank you.
I'm
Benefits
poisoned.
of casting.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, very much so.
But
Okay,
that is my turn. I'm
that's
still
your turn?
trying to interject.
Fleeting. Yes, that's there. So Fleeting is just going to withdraw his Fair Storm, and he is just going to smack it across the head.
smack it upside its head. All right.
So based on difficult plays, they were based on this. There's any way for him to flank it. I can't quite tell from our setup.
Bunny, where Bunny jumps over?
He could get behind it, yeah.
So
Yeah,
would
he
he be able
could.
to set up advantage?
Oh, no, that's not flanking, is it? Because he's on the edge.
Let's go.
That's
Doesn't
what
to be-
Yeah, sorry, you couldn't get flanking. You won't need it. He's got an AC of 11, so I think you'll be fine.
You've not met fleeting.
Good point. Very good point. Very good point.
But
21.
it's,
No,
it's
that
a bit-
does hit. That
I
does
guess it's
hit.
a bit different when Seth is rolling.
Describe to us how you destroy it, because he's only got 2 hit points. You
Ah, he has a +3 on his, so I couldn't fuck that up. When he's going to come through, he's just going to be like, hang on. Seth! Seth!
Pushes him in.
He just hits it. He just hits it sort of lightly tap.
like nonchalantly
With
just throws it aside,
How lightly? Oh, actually, really hard.
and the troglodyte just starts falling. Hits the rope, and Brucon, you're like, "Whoa."
He's just going, Seth! Seth!
I'm picturing
Collapsed into
Jurassic
the
Park when Alan
Gone.
Grant is with the dangling over the side.
Yes,
Yeah.
very much. Yeah.
Jeep, troglodyte,
He's
basically
15
the same
now
thing.
because of his werewolf
What
stealth.
the fuck have we get there?
Yep. He go.
He splashes in.
Sweet.
Oh, he's got 15.
Who's next?
He's got 15 because of his lycanthropy.
Ah!
It was
There we
13, but
I
yeah,
thought he looked stronger.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like,
I know.
It's +3.
it's
not
great, isn't it?
+4.
So Leobrin,
Yep.
I know, he's like got stronger from the disease.
I was like, has he leveled up? I got confused.
That was. Do we reckon our allies in the cave are dealing with more of those?
We've seen the
Thanks, we
grappling
won.
hook.
It is a good soundtrack.
Yep.
Come on.
Have we seen the grappling hook? Come on.
You have.
Ah,
Brucon's,
You heard it too.
Brucon's 25 feet up in those, isn't he?
Yeah, he's halfway up. He's 20 feet up.
20 feet.
So
Yeah.
there's no way to go down back
assess.
there.
Without going into Brucon.
well, the Oberon's going to do it anyway.
Yeah, there's only water below. It'll be fine.
I mean, I'm not jumping in. I'm not.
No, I mean, as if Brucon
But in
falls
any
off,
event,
it'll be fine.
it's half movement for him as well, right? So,
Yeah.
so you wouldn't even be trying to pass Brucon yet anyway.
Well, it depends, because obviously it's downhill if you're kind of like abseiling almost, like sliding down the rope, however you try to do that.
I'm
Might
going
make it a bit
to
faster,
climb
because
down the rope,
gravity.
I don't want rope burn.
You know, so take 1 point of friction.
Yeah,
roll down.
exactly. I'm going to climb down this.
Take off your belt and
Try and climb down
Indiana
this
Jones your
rope.
way down. Okay.
Well,
So that would be 30 feet, wouldn't it? You're not doing anything else, are you? So you.
I've got to move over. I don't know how close I was to the rope.
You're basically on the edge.
Okay.
So yeah, 30 feet.
So you can move 30 feet.
Half speed?
Well, it'll be half, but then
You're going downhill, so yeah, 30 feet you can get.
Oh,
30 feet.
okay.
Because you're going up, it's going to be half.
Well, but what I was thinking, I was assuming it was half because he's taking his time. I was assuming it would be half speed, but
Oh.
you're
I
presumably trading your action.
All climbing is.
Oh, I'm sorry.
half,
Yes, no,
yeah.
I was assuming the action was climbing as well.
Oh, okay. I can do. Yeah, I'll do that. So I'll go
Yeah.
30.
So we're basically
feet.
just So we're just chilling out, just having a little.
Um,
Both
Lovely.
kind of like hanging out here, going there. Yeah.
there was a troglodyte upstairs. We killed it. How are you?
Oh, well, I'm all right.
Yeah, all up to it.
Oh Lord! Oh, there's
There's-
more.
I'm
Oh.
all right, but there's some sort of curious frog-like creature over there. We should probably
It's around set.
Cool.
do something about that.
I've got
Sorry to interrupt, chaps. I was just like, time! I was like, quickly, let's go.
2
Yeah.
daggers.
Yeah.
Going to throw one at him,
Yep.
the one that's furthest away.
Yep.
Do I make this with advantage? Because
Uh,
I'm still hidden, aren't I?
they haven't seen you. You're not hidden, but they haven't seen you. So yes,
that's
yes,
kind
you
of
can.
a surprise attack. So
Yeah, you can do
Yeah.
that.
Go on, roll 9 zillion dice. Do it.
It's only 3. 25.
That hits. Yeah.
Alright.
Fairly positive you'll get this guy. But
Roll.
roll anyway.
Roll.
So yeah, Brucon, you'll be next. So
Polyhedrons
Get ready-
rolling.
get ready
roll
for your turn.
high.
10, 15 damage.
Yep, that's enough to slay him.
And then
In one
with
hit.
the other dagger, can I get out the water
Yep.
and go to stab him?
Yep.
The legs are
Oh yeah, I need my legs back.
Yeah, we've gone
it's
appropriately enough. We've gone
formalities.
full Piranha
19.
3D. Bring me my
19 hits, yeah.
legs.
And so that's
You
just,
seen that?
That's solely the
Fucking
4 damage.
amazing
So that's
film.
4 damage.
4 damage. Yep. He's looking ropey, but he's still there.
Okay.
Where are his legs?
They're in my hand.
I was more
Yeah,
like that's
so-
a halfling now.
All right.
Goes in the water.
That's
with
your
that,
turn. So yeah.
I go back and die and into the. How deep's the water?
So it's at least 20 feet deep.
Cool. I'm gonna dive.
He's going to get an opportunity attack.
No, he doesn't.
Why not?
Because
Oh, swashbuckler. Oh, but you killed the other one. Are you okay? Fine, you bastard. Yeah, go ahead. In the water you go.
I don't
Oh
mind.
no! Oh, I do apologise. No, because the although he's not in melee range of you, you're in his range. That guy there.
this guy.
Yeah, you're in his range.
For
His tongue.
Yeah, he's got a big old tongue.
can you make a reaction attack? Oh, okay, go.
So,
About to get tongue
so he's
away.
gonna attack you.
Okay.
I forgot. That's why he's there.
For opportunity attack, then I have to break.
You leave his leaving the
Okay.
threatened
Yeah,
Because
area.
he's within. That's
Okay.
within his reaction range. But yeah, good job I remembered that. Okay, so does a 19 hit?
Yes.
Okay. You take.
You come
A
under
silly amount of
The, you
damage.
come under the effect of the spell tongues.
Sorry, you take 15 points of necrotic damage, and you need to make a strength saving throw.
Oh no.
8.
You could breathe underwater. Seth can breathe underwater, right?
Strength saving throw. I'm pretty sure I failed this because I rolled an 8. 9 on my save.
That is a fail, so you get pulled within 5 feet of this guy.
Oh.
I'm going to use my reaction to half the damage.
Okay, sure. Yeah, canny dodge. Yeah, sure. Good idea.
So that's 15 down to 7.
Fucking rogues.
Yes.
What do? I use my reaction to go, no, I don't think so.
None of that.
I
Dodge
ref-
slightly,
I
but
say
not
no.
well enough. Mister, I just catch shit and throw it back.
Yeah.
Okay, we're all right.
So that's you. Brucon.
Brucon presumably has seen all that. Okay, now here's a question. When does your reaction recharge?
Start.
Your turn.
Start of your turn.
So you now
So
have
I've got it
reaction
back.
again.
Okay.
Presumably, Leobrin's told you there's no threat upstairs anymore, and you've seen a troglodyte fall down. So
Yeah. Well, indeed. So, Brucon looks to Leobrin and goes, "How do you feel about swinging?"
I mean, it's really the wrong time to ask that. But
I teed you up. You obliged me. Thank you.
sure, let's do it.
Okay. So we're gonna try for a double act kind of on the swing kind of swing.
okay.
And then Brucon will attempts to calculate the trajectory to release so that he heads in this sort of direction
Okay.
rather than just dropping straight down.
Yeah.
from one time and
Okay.
aiming a bit.
Make an intelligence check.
Oh no. Right.
If you roll high, Jack's like, don't do it.
4.
Okay.
Brilliant idea.
You think you've got it.
Yeah.
You also think maybe this isn't a good idea, but that's up to you. So you still want to go ahead with this?
Live by the stunts, die by the stunts. Baby.
All right. So making an acrobatics check, and is Leobrin? Are you doing? Well, you're still on the rope.
I'm enlisting him just to help with the
I'm
the
part of
swinging.
the
I'm not
momentum
I'm not
Yes, for the extra
anticipating.
weight.
I'm not anticipating that he's coming down with me.
Okay, great. So acrobatics check for you.
Natural 20.
Oh baby, yes. Okay, so you don't go where
So
you
we-
meant to go, but
Yeah.
you land and don't take any damage as you enter the water. About.
So do I
about-
not even need to
about-
use the? Don't even need to use slow fall.
No, you won't take any damage.
Right. So we're
So you're going to be 20 feet from the shore. You do miscalculate. Yeah, one more back. Yeah. That's where you land, right there.
10, 15, 20. Yeah, good. How much of my move have I used?
So I'll say that's your action. So you can move. So you know your action to do the whole swing thing.
Okay. My buddy Seth needs me.
He does.
I guess is how the.
He really does. Please get there.
Okay, so.
Sorry, please get there.
Five.
It get awkward otherwise.
Tell you what. Can we do this? 5, 10.
It's double on the second diagonal.
So 15.
Yeah.
It's also swimming.
Yeah, it's all swimming, which is half movement.
Bonus action, boot to speed.
Bonus action.
Yeah.
Click in the heels.
Yeah,
And
there
then,
we go.
and then Brucon's.
Motorboating his way
I'm
out. Wait,
picturing
no.
that
No,
I'm
that's
Not
a
yet.
whole different
Not
situation.
yet. We haven't got there yet. Okay, so that's doubled it, right? So
Yeah. So you're good
10,
now. Yeah,
25,
No, 20.
30.
30, because it's double and then double again for diagonal and water.
Oh, yeah.
So 30. So that leaves me with 50 feet still to go.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
How many to get out of the water?
So it's no extra to get out of the water. The water mill would be extra, but that's the bit
okay,
on the
so
your
40,
right.
45,
Yep.
50, 60,
Oh no, I did say to Seth it was 10 feet up, didn't I? So yeah, we'll say it's
Okay,
double
so that
then. It
was
was double then, so
65.
yes, yeah.
So that was 60.
Just
gonna have to live
he's
with it,
there. He's there.
65, 70,
Yep.
80.
Great. You're in melee, in your
Yeah.
own melee range of this guy because he's a large creature. This
Yeah.
and you can see closer now. This it's like it's got warts all over its giant head.
Am I now
lots
in a
of
position
razor
to?
sharp teeth.
Am I now in a position to see if I clock what species?
Yes.
this thing
Now
is?
you can do it. Go for
Survival.
it. Nature.
Oh, fine. 8.
Not something you've come across before. It looks like a freaking
It's,
toga.
to be fair, it would be surprising. if
You'd
I
call it a
couldn't-
toga
Yeah.
by your best guess. See what I did there. All right. So it's now its go. First of all, the troglodyte behind you is going to go for Brucon. Because Seth is currently being tongue-tied by this guy. So the
Shooting arrows, or is it moving up?
no, he's running up to try and lash at you. First attack cuts himself with another natural one.
Good
second,
job.
Second claw, natural 20. It's
I was
given it
hoping you could grab those arrows.
given a tick of the way. So that is 4, 6, 8 points of slashing damage, and then finally tries to take a bite at you. Does a 20 hit?
Yep.
That's also helpful. 5 points of piercing damage from the bites.
Another
You can
5.
feel this noxious smell, this stench of this horrible being next to you. It
no,
is
it's a
quite
poisson.
disgusting.
Oh, but dwarf.
Well,
This guy, this dude.
I think he just bit me.
Yeah, he just
Oh,
bit you. The
I was
poison
just about
thing
to-
only happens on your turn. So, but remember that if he's still alive. So
And if I'm still here.
this toga, then with Seth
Toga,
in his
toga,
tongue,
toga,
wrapped around
toga.
Seth.
I was listening, but
You can then-
you set me up with an Animal House reference, and there's only one possible response to that.
Okay, it's going to make a bite attack against Seth. 21 hits. So you. Oh my god, I didn't see it was that much.
You're allowed to take the initiative.
I would say uncanny dodge this probably. Oh, you've already.
Yeah.
No, because didn't you have a turn?
No,
No.
I did that on my turn.
No, it wasn't your turn. I'm so sorry. 10, 16, 18, 23 piercing damage.
Cool.
How are you doing?
I'm on 3.
You're on 3. You then see Brucon in horror as Seth is then taken up into the mouth, just dislocates, and Seth is
Yeah.
taken inside and swallowed. So you're no longer grappled, but currently.
Plus side, you're no longer.
But you are blinded and restrained.
Yeah.
Does that mean I can still attack?
You
At
can.
disadvantage.
Yeah, you can.
At disadvantage.
Because you're restrained.
And
Oh, that's going to
blind.
be fun.
Both a disadvantage.
I mean, being blind when you're into it shouldn't really matter, should it?
That's it.
the
So,
restrained bit does.
Malar.
I'm gonna stow the continual flame
Sorry?
torch,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna use the lantern to highlight the path down for a fleeting look,
Okay,
and encourage him to go down.
Okay,
Down,
this is
down,
the- I'm just
down,
gonna encourage.
down, down, down.
Doing anything else?
So I can't move without
Yeah.
not illuminating the path.
Fair enough.
That's what I'm doing.
Okay, so
No,
fleeting.
Fleeting.
Come to your friend's rescue.
Cool. He's going to jump off to the
Dexter
waterfall.
Fletcher
Okay, fine.
in that film.
You said you lit the path.
I've lit the path that doesn't, so
Bugsy
he
Malone.
can walk down, not
Yes,
jump
I'm
down.
not saying it.
You wouldn't be able
I
to
mean, I see.
well,
Oh, it's great.
Dashing,
No, even with dashing, you can't get the whole way down.
get halfway down, jump, so it's not as dangerous.
Yeah, jump in the water.
Okay, fine.
All the way? All 50 feet?
No, that's what they were just
Sorry.
saying.
Yeah, okay, so
Dash to go as far down as he can.
So he gets-
which would
He'll
get
dash.
him
He'll
30 feet.
he'll
down.
dash 30 feet down, then drop 20 feet.
Yeah, and then
Okay.
drop 20 feet.
Yeah, that's fine.
Because it's just water below, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just water, and because it's quite deep, it halves the amount of damage, so he only takes 6 points of bludgeoning damage.
Cool. So then he's
I'm
just there
enjoying
at
the
bottom.
acceptable breaks from reality here.
Cool.
What kind of armour's Fleeting wearing again?
Chamber.
Yeah.
Heavy.
Wouldn't sink. No, he's fine
Definitely
afloat.
not. No, it's
It
fine.
gets significantly less heavy as soon as you're in the water.
completing ends his turn.
So he's currently in the water, under the water.
Yes and no.
He's landed.
He can't do anything else, so he finishes there.
Yep. Over.
Yep. I mean, how's my? I mean, I can spellcast from here.
Yeah, I feel like you're. I
Yeah.
feel like you should think very, very hard about
Actually,
moving
wait,
it out
how
of.
far away is this water wheel thingy? Oh, so
It's like 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30.
No, cool.
40.
I thought it
40
was,
to
I
50
thought it was
feet.
like nearby that I could climb onto.
Do you want to put this door round the water wheel?
Yeah, probably.
So it's a bit on the piss, but that's alright.
Probably.
That'll do.
At least we know where it is.
I will Eldritch Blast. That's our big boy that's just for itself.
Alright.
As a 16 to hit.
At 16 hits.
Yay!
Yes, that's damage.
That is 8 force damage from a blast.
8 force damage. Alright. Although it doesn't say it in here, I'm going to say that means you have to make a constitution check. See if he can hold on to his...
I'll punch him in the gut with my blast.
Yeah, it's unperturbed. It's still bent on consuming.
Be perturbed.
Damn it, be perturbed, you fool! Yeah, 8 points of force damage, yeah.
I am gonna start like
Listen to Perturbator.
shimmying down though, because we are trying to get in here to save a kid. So I will continue the shimmy.
Shimmy, shimmy, yo, shimmy, yeah.
Some distance down, 15 feet of shimmy.
Okay, 50 feet of shimmy.
My turn, isn't it?
Yeah, Seth, up to you.
I'm still inside.
You're
aren't I?
inside the toga.
And then I drop. That's like 5 foot into the water.
Does using inspiration cancel out disadvantage from the restraint?
Yes.
So I'm going to attack.
Okay.
Yes. Go on, Seth.
Natural 20.
Oh my
Yes!
god.
Now we need it. Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
don't have disadvantage,
Yeah.
I get sneak attack.
Because disadvantage is applied to it, you don't get sneak attack.
No, sneak attack cancels out with advantage.
It doesn't-
Disadvantage.
But you still have disadvantage.
Yeah.
You just...
A disadvantage is applied to the attack, which you are countering with advantage. It says if there is any source of disadvantage applied, you can't sneak attack.
I'll say in this instance you can't get sneak attack because, well, it's very much aware you're inside of it.
Okay, I'll put that later. So I'm going to use the rapier. So that is
Natural 20.
Oh yeah,
Double.
double 2.
So 4 plus 9? 9 points of damage, is that right?
Yes, 9 damage.
Sweet. Okay, so it's going to make another con check. Does still keep you inside. It's determined to consume you. Put you through the digestive system.
Any movement to...
You're restrained, so
Oh.
no. You go, I'm afraid you can't. And then that's your. Unless you have a bonus action's not going to help you here. So
hi.
that's you. Oh, hi. All right, that's your turn.
You know I'm in here, but where?
It's a band of obstacles. Okay, fine. So next, Brucon.
Yeah. Flurry of blows.
Yes.
So-
Oh, hang on.
Yeah.
I feel like the rest of you should now have sound effects.
I'm gonna do these separately. So we'll start with a short sword attack against. No, actually, he's gonna, because it's flurry of blows, he's gonna make an unarmed attack against the troglodyte next to him first up.
Okay.
11.
11 is its arm
11
class.
is yeah, that's what I thought. So we'll roll this plus 4. 6 points of damage.
Bam! Down he goes.
Boom.
He's out.
Sick. Right. Then.
Oh, I do. He's also within 5 feet, and I forgot to say it. Can you do that?
The saving throw. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it was charisma. No, that doesn't sound right.
That doesn't sound right.
That doesn't sound right at
For-
all.
against
That's not on the back. Yeah.
Constitution, isn't it?
Constitution. Apologies. Thank you.
But with advantage because dwarf.
Yeah.
Oh dear God in heaven. Well, 8.
That fails. So roll again, and then we'll still apply the same damage if you still hit. But you need to roll one more time for the attack, right? Because you have disadvantage on attacks with new poisons.
Do you?
Is that correct?
Yeah, that's what we established the...
Disadvantage on attacks and ability checks.
Oh,
So yeah, roll one more
Did you get poison?
time, and hope.
Fail.
Yeah, as long as it's not below.
I rolled a 2.
Oh bollocks! He's still up. I'm so. That's my fault. I'm sorry. So he's still there.
Alright, second unarmed attack then. Okay, much better. Where were those before? So That's 24.
Yeah, that hits. Yeah. Get him.
7.
Well,
No,
that's,
5.
That's more than enough. You
Fine,
have
okay.
3 left, so
There it goes.
he's down. He's out.
Yeah.
Okay, just this boy left.
And then over to this guy, and then the short sword attack that I was hanging on to. With disadvantage again, presumably because of poison.
Yeah. Fortunately, it won't happen next turn.
Why?
Oh!
So that's 10.
And then in Jabba the Hutt style, it just kind of taunts you and like its tongue wags.
Yeah.
Shall we get you out? And I'll tell you what we'll do. We will leave it here for next time. So, Steph, as you're inside the belly of the beast,
Yeah, he can add
With
his
advantage.
sneak attack.
And plus
He
4.
can add his
I
sneak
rolled a
attack.
2 and a 4.
do you want to add it right now? Do it.
Yes.
Do it. Add it on.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 15.
You'd think years of playing Blood Bowl would have prepared me for this.
22 damage.
Okay, 22 damage. Lovely. He's still up.
Usually dwarfs.
That actually wraps things up a lot better for me.
That's
So.
on top of the damage I did.
Yep, no, I'm with you. Okay, so with that, and you fly out of his mouth.
There we go.
I'm out.
Perfect end.
You're prone on the ground there,
Sesh.
and then in front of you, you see both of you as this thing in the darkness just snaps. It disappears.
Oh.
What? No, what?
There's-
We'll
and
be seeing him again.
With just a puff of noxious
Logic.
magical gas, it disappears.
As Seth is
It's a
lying-
genuine shadow step ability it has, by the way.
Yeah,
This
As
isn't just
Seth is
for
lying on
brevity.
the floor, he just yells, "Nobody tell someone where I've been."
Something
inside.
Mucus.
So we will leave it here for today. We'll be picking this up in 3 weeks' time.
Yeah.
Got a little bit of a break now. Join us next week for our Theurgy game. That's going to be a lot of Theurgy, I think. Again, that's going to be a lot of fun with some of us here. Enter the competition, of course, to win the Dragon Pin Badges and Artwork Bundle, courtesy of Creature Cave.
Creature Cave.
And follow us on socials if you're not already, so you can enter the competition. And come join me on Friday for our campaign diary. I'll be talking about what's happened in this session, and we'll pick things up in a few weeks' time with this. But for now, thank you all. Stay safe and have a good week.
Later, Tater.
Bye.
Adios.